Every time I see all the things that I'm living for. Ever since I turned around, all the little things I found, they were wonderful. Moving in a whole new space, taken to a different place, that is wonderful. Wonderful. If you could look into my eyes, you'd see why I am hypnotized. Oh, you get drunk with desire and high from all the things your dirty mind wants. You wanna see what's deep inside and take it for a mighty ride. Oh, you get some from all fire and dime from all the things your dirty mind wants. Out of my mind, yeah, and get a little low. Take off your pride, babe, and let me know, no. You can see what I can see. The night is wild and so are we. Out of my mind, yeah, and get a little low. I want to stop, but you let me know, no. You can see what I can see. The night is wild and so are we. If you could look into my eyes, you'd see what should be no surprise. Oh, you cool down, dance it out to hide from all the things your dirty mind wants. You wanna see what's deep inside. Oh, and take it for a mighty ride. Oh, you get some from all fire and dime from all the things your dirty mind wants. Out of my mind, yeah, and get a little low. Take off your pride, babe, and let me know, no. You can see what I can see. The night is wild and so are we. Out of my mind, yeah, and get a little low. I want to stop, but you let me know, no. You can see what I can see. The night is wild and so are we.
Good afternoon, SMITE fans, and welcome to the SMITE Global Series. My name's Tom Battinger, and right next to me is Anatoly Alexeyenok, and we've got a fantastic afternoon right ahead of us. We're going to go all the way to Brazil.
It's going to be an epic matchup, honestly. We got ET's Esports here against Black Dragons, a team that most people are very familiar with internationally.
Yeah, real talk. I mean, these teams, Black Dragons were definitely kind of inundated with, but ET's, this is some familiar names as well. Shout out to XTT coming out of semi-retirement and rejoining here. The Brazilian region is really interesting when we watch the global series because SEA is kind of in its infancy with a little bit of China, obviously grabbed on there. OCE, we've seen those players coming in and out. But the Black Dragons and some of these Brazilian players, these guys have kind of been here since minute one. We saw them at Worlds 1.
Yeah, they've been performing a lot also as well. Like, giving some surprises, some plays every now and then. And we've seen Black Dragons not only at Worlds, but also at DreamHack Valencia, also at SMITE Masters. Didn't have the best performance internationally. They did beat out Entity Gaming at Worlds in the knockout stages, but struggled against, the winners, E United, in the quarterfinals.
And like I said, these people have been here for a while. You kind of broken down, and we've seen them improve all along the way. So why don't we get to the picks and bans here and continue that improvement? ETs will have the first pick and the first ban. Black Dragons on the right side of your screen will have the secondary shot, and the Circuit gone.
It's not a surprise to see Circuit right off the table. Oship from Black Dragons likes to play aggressive. Circuit enables his style, so you just get rid of that. And now it leaves Black Dragons with a question mark of, like, what kind of jungler path do they want to go?
The Circuit's interesting. Circuit kind of came into this new Season 5 meta with how powerful the crit items were, most notably Deathbringer, and then it was changed. It was nerfed, and she's still that damn strong. Different story for Nemesis next to the Thoth ban. This character still has the itemization that makes her strong. Heartseeker or Crusher, you can kind of just ult somebody and obliterate them, so too much burst damage. For Black Dragons, they take Nemesis and Thoth off the table, leaving ETs with the first selection of Artio.
A flex pick for the first pick on ET's Esports. Could go support, could go jungle, could go solo lane. Season 5, we've seen a lot of different things, so we don't really know where this Artio is going to go to start things off.
I really like that sound effect for Athena coming into the picks and bans. It's like, where is she coming from? That's that SMITE player like instinct. You hear the Athena ult, you're like, who's she channeling on?
Yeah, it's always scary whenever there's a global presence. Yeah. We've stopped seeing that actually a lot in Season 4, but with the map being bigger in Season 5, we might see more Athenas and maybe other global presence.
Really big deal there. Also, Athena combined with the Uller. Character that was very popular in Season 4. Season 5 came around and kind of brought him down a level. With the loss of Bluestone in lieu of the new Blessings, he's just not as strong as he once was. But with Transcendence getting 10% CDR, he's also kind of still strong. So he's not the complete dominant force that he was in Season 4 last year, but still absolutely somebody you want in this first round of picks. Going to be joined up by Bologna, another character that kind of fits right there in the we're strong, but we're not bannable.
Just a safe solo lane pick. You can't really go wrong with Bologna or Kakolin in that matchup. We're going to see them hitting each other with pillows. Nothing's going to change there. But we were talking about global presence. Ratatasker locked in for ET's Esports. We're going to see them fight fire with fire.
Absolutely. Black Dragons now focusing on the Hunter position, taking out the Hachi man, while ET still staying in the jungle. Daji is a character that has really risen to prominence lately. I talked about the Circuit being strong with the Deathbringer, the Nemesis being strong with the Heartseeker. What makes Daji so powerful?
It's just her mobility between her third ability, between Blink being popular in Season 5, covering the map, as well as just her ultimate. Because it's a relatively new god compared to other junglers, you're looking at players not being very familiar with this god, so their style is still being found out. Dajis can either go for all 3 chains or go for that quick first snap chain and instantly cancel, trying to pull that primary target.
Yeah, Daji is a very interesting character. We're past the bans, but I do want to mention the Giannis ban. Again, heavy looking teams are looking heavily at those global ultimates, so want to take Giannis out of there. The Morrigan, selected by Black Dragons, increasing their global ability. Athena, Ratatasker, a lot of ultimates there. But the Kukulkan, it's a character we don't see every day.
It's very true, but the way the jungle has been kind of condensed in certain areas of the map, that tornado is going to be important. You have to make sure that you use it at the right timing. Once the team fights start rotating around you, you can play defensively with that. However, I'm a little bit worried about the setup potentially. Kakolin has a nice little knockup. Ratatasker has to get really close to use those acorns, unless he wants to find the knockup with the ultimate.
I love the Kukulkan because the Kukulkan, excuse me, in theory, this character is always a zoning character. You can kind of walk around the tornadoes. Can't walk around the tornadoes any longer. Can't walk around game number 1 either. ETs versus Black Dragons coming at you right here on Mixer. ET's going to start off here, and pretty normal starts, totally honestly, from everybody. Say hello to our new blessings and everything. Cliz, the mastermind that he is, always wants to trigger people in some way, shape, or form. He's got his Warrior's Blessing in slot 2.
Very important. Honestly, it's the new mark of the Vanguard. That's what you're really trying to survive in the solo lane. Not only that, every 10 seconds, as long as you hit an enemy god, you're getting that 40 health back. And it's very important to stack up to get the extra 15 physical and magical protections after a couple stacks.
What you said just before that was really important to me. The effect can only occur once every 10 seconds, but it's the heal and the mana return on combat that's really important for these solo laners. You're going to see them constantly battling back and forth, this time actually for a reason. They want to get that heal, and I like this because it allows characters that don't have that natural sustain to kind of do so. Keep an eye on here. Marcel's and P-Bay trying to get the upper hand on ET's dual lane, but across the way, XT and Neek will not be surprised. And yeah, that's a support Cullen today.
I'm not actually surprised because the way the dual lane has been kind of evolved, at least through the rank process, there's been a lot of boxing 1v1 potentials, which is why Ullr has been so popular. Not many hunters can stack up against his level 1 presence.
There's also this idea that the dual lane is more of a traditional duo lane where it's more 2v2. You will see the support roam later on, but here in Season 5, you see the team up a little bit longer, and that resorts players kind of resort to heavy aggression. In fact, yesterday in the console series, we actually saw kill lane with Naja and Ullr, and well, frankly, without watching the VODs, let's just say it was very effective.
And not only that, Cullen at level 1 can transform, and then you're going to have all your abilities to be able to use in the dual lane. It's better to have it in that long lane, actually, than in the solo lane because you can take advantage of non-mobile characters. However, for Black Dragons, both of them have the escapes as long as they're sitting at level 2.
The Black Dragon is doing a great job right now invading the jungle. Ratatasker across the way went to visit mid lane. Well, Cliz and Oship teamed up, and these two early game warriors just walked in, took the blue buff, and took those experience camps where the speed used to be. Marcel's knocked up. Neek trying to find the follow-up. Meanwhile, this hunter all the way in the back. So not going to be able to catch up is Jing Wei. Marcel's will sit at 10%. Now Neek's in trouble here, totally. One shot from it, and that'll be first blood. Marcel's with a capital Z, starting it off hot.
And that's why Ullr is so popular here. You just have so much kill potential. Use all your abilities. You get a little bit of a setup from your support. Unfortunately for ETs, Neek got too aggressive, too ambitious. I like that he tried to go for some more poke damage, but he didn't respect the damage out of the Ullr. Now, he also missed his route on the Ullr after the jump. What he could have done was used his dash first to cut the distance, then route the Ullr, maybe force an early purification beats.
Like I said, the aggression, I'm a fan of the aggression in this dual lane. The problem for me was communication. XT was all the way back at, let's cut the lane in half. He was at his 40-yard line, so to speak, whereas his support was all the way on the enemy's tower. Something I want to mention is that XTT has taken a little bit of time off here. This is a very, very good hunter. Some of my finest moments of watching Brazilian Smite include XTT, but he hasn't played in some of the most recent splits. Coming back out of semi-retirement here, maybe those sorts of disconnects are what we're going to be seeing. Hopefully that doesn't last too long in the season or even the set.
Which is why he's probably playing the Jing Wei, one of the safest hunters you can just leave alone in the dual lane, allow them to farm up. However, because of that early death from Neek, he's going to be sharing some of this experience. The changes from Season 4 to Season 5, instead of getting 150% per wave from two people, you're not getting 120%.
Secondary invade from Black Dragons won't be happening, as Chris makes sure to show up here on the Ratatasker and secure that blue buff for Artio. Very important for the stand switching Guardian. P-Bay on the other side of the map, however, does successfully find the steal, and he'll walk away with the experience.
That's the beauty about Athena. You can literally use any ability and then proc your passive reach just to throw out a little bit of a javelin. It goes through walls, it goes through enemies. You can't body block it.
And Shield Wall does a ton of damage early game anyway, so she's able to really help confirm some of those buffs as well. Black Dragon's off to a nice start here with that first kill. Something I want to bring up, Toli, as you mentioned the hunter choice here. Marcel's and XT, historically fantastic ROM players. When they went head-to-head, these guys used to be the two best teams in Brazil. For those that haven't followed, Black Dragons and Red Canids once upon a time were the sort of 1 and 2. And they always fought over ROM. But here, ROM wasn't even picked or ban.
It's still early in Season 5. I'm not too worried. I'm sure throughout the splits, throughout maybe a couple of weeks, they're going to experiment with ROM and might go back to their comfort pick. It could also be a thing where they don't want to reveal their card too early.
Everybody
in
knows
the
they're
split.
ROM players.
Sure, but honestly, I like the transition of Season 5 aggressive style of Uller. And being able to be confident with this kind of aggressive god allows you to get the slight early game lead, whereas ROM doesn't get you that early game lead. He's more of like, all right, allow him to farm, sit him alone, let him get to, level 12 and higher to be able to solo Gold Fury at one point in the game or another, but there's no leaving hunters alone. There's a lot of action, especially if the jungler decides to make that early speed to red buff level 1 start.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head there, Totally, is that ROM just isn't a character of choice that we see a lot of players bring out. Black Dragon splitting the jungle 3-by-3. Left side, bit of Harpy is going to go their way as well. People will take some poke from the mid lane. Kukul Khan, character that we mentioned in the picks and bans, but haven't really touched on here in the game. The Kukul Khan versus the Morrigan matchup here in the mid lane. It's an interesting one. The push will always go the way of ETZ Sports, but Black Dragons with that Morrigan have a lot of tools.
Absolutely. He can go to either global presence between the Rat or the Athena. He can also be very aggressive if he wants to go to Robin's route. But I like the different building paths that these two mid-mages have specifically. One's going Glass Cannon, the Kukulkan, obviously thriving on mana based off of the passive. So look at Thought Rush. Makes sense, right? Nan wants to survive more, so he's going to rush the Warlock Staff.
Yeah, that Warlock staff has been really, really prominent here in Season 5. A couple, same item as Warlock Sash, for what it's worth. A couple of different changes, and it was just really attractive versus the other options. Kind of the same amount of power for a long time. It's been adjusted, but we still see this sort of go the way of mages. Mages used to be the late game character, but now very much mid game. What is Oship doing by himself?
Oh, no, but
1
the
versus
Athena
2.
ultimate, Athena ultimate allows him to go in, but man, that dragon just doing work.
And Nan comes down with the ultimate, takes down the mid lane mage. Chris will do the same and take out Oship. Now it's a 2-on-2. Chris is very low, finds the exit on the left-hand side. Pibe can't catch up, won't get the taunt, but Nan will get a complimentary trip back to the fountain. ET finds their second kill, ties it up. 2-2.
Great rotation from Neek. It's so hard to match the global presence from Athena. EXT has taken a boxing exchange that he definitely shouldn't. Recognizing his mistake, ulti's out of danger immediately. It's a level 7 Uller versus a level 6 Jing Wei. We're seeing the Ninja Tabby for Marcel's, electing to get the mobility before finishing the Transcendence, and that's going to allow him to get a little bit of a poke. But because of Jing Wei's passive, she's back in the lane already.
I want to go back to that fight, Totally. That was a lot of fun to watch. Oship gets himself in trouble by himself, 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3. Still going to be an even match because of the two ultimates. Pibe on the global, on the true global, and then Nan on the option global. Oship is truly never alone on this map.
It's also difficult just to kill a Robin alone.
Yeah,
he has his immunity frames with his 2. He has damage reduction on his ultimate, whether or not he hits it. And then you just add an Athena ultimate for more damage mitigation. I like the style that Black Dragons had. A little bit lack of execution the way they really wanted to. It was a great rotation from me, especially transforming. That was the key factor. If he didn't transform there, I don't think that he would have found that second kill.
Yeah, very, very important heat management there, or anger management, if you will. Ship right now trying to find his next option. Him and the enemy jungler basically tied up even. Another interesting thing of note down there on the bottom, so many Oracle Chalices. What's the change here, totally, in Season 5 that makes this item so pickable?
It's just the map size. You're looking at the map size being about 20% wider, so it's difficult to rotate, right? So whenever you do get ganked by a jungler, you're basically not really expecting it because they're usually farming the jungle. Buffs are up faster every 2 minutes, allowing the jungler to get more farm on the map. So spotting that rotation out allows you to fall back and continue farming safely.
I have really noticed here in Season 5 that this is kind of the jungler's map. For a while, SMITE has not always been a jungler-driven league. We've looked at hunters in the past, sometimes even mages. But right now, I truly think this is a jungler-driven league. I think you need a strong, most importantly, intelligent jungler on your team to find victories.
It hasn't been a jungler league since maybe Season 0, Season 1, honestly. It kind of, SMITE's meta evolved into this 3v3, support, middle, jungler, always holding hands in the jungle, making sure nobody would get caught off guard. But like I mentioned, because the buffs are up so much faster, every 2 minutes as opposed to 3 in Season 5, it enables these junglers to do work, which is why you might even see in some of your ranked games or casual games a double jungle strategy.
I think that's why we see some of the veterans go back. Andon's still returning to the jungle over there in North America in the Pro League. These guys that were successful in Season 0 in the jungle, moving back there. Very similar mindset where ganks are a big deal. We haven't seen too many in this game, and I really think it's just because of the presence of the globals. These global pressure is kind of a really big threat.
These teams are very familiar with each other also. They've played before in their region super regionals, but here's a gank.
And the players underneath the tower. Nice play by Black Dragons to sort of read what was coming out of Chris and back off before that actually happens.
And I was talking about these two teams being familiar with each other in their own super regionals. They went the distance going all 5 games. Black Dragons did come out on top, which allowed them to punch their ticket for Worlds. So there's a little bit of revenge here that ETs really wants to get back.
10 minutes in here, folks. A little bit of action so far. Gold Fury started by ET, and Black Dragons do not even know it's happening. The ultimate comes out by Silva, and that one will go down. I'm trying to decipher the mid lane's name right there. It's
Silva
backwards. But this play looks all forwards. Nan cornering out one player on the right-hand side. Neek, it's all but dead. Nan takes the kill right after his teammate finds one on the left side. XTT will escape, but his 2 teammates fall down. It's 4-2.
Once Black Dragons recognized ET's use that Kukulkan ultimate, or Kukulkan, there's no burst realistically here for ETs to fight into. So Black Dragons taking advantage, gonna force a fight. They get 2 quick picks, and now they're going to get a little bit of chip damage on both the left tower and their tier 1 mid, which is probably more important, not gold-wise necessarily, but positionally. Being able to push these waves consistently will give you the vision to maybe identify what's the next play available.
And rotating is harder on this map. This map is larger than the one that we saw last year, so being able to clear out that tier 1 tower, giving yourself some breathing room, able to make those rotations that much more important. So that map presence is really nice. I do want to give a shout out to the blue team though. You have to note what your pros and cons of your draft are, and absolutely ET has objective secure above Black Dragons. Right side, there comes a gang. Nice jump coming out from the Bologna.
Forcing out 2 ultimates there just for the Ratatasker. Not too shabby on the side of ET. So now, with the Athena ultimate down, this can allow EXT to maybe take a one-on-one against Marcel's if he's feeling frisky. He's still not finished stacking those Devo gloves, so he might wait a little bit on that.
Yeah, that looked interesting. You're a long-time player of the solo lane. Black Dragons look for the Pyromancer, the Portal Demon's replacement, giving you a little boost of speed out of that starting fountain. That looked like a half a gank to me from Chris. That looked like, I mean, this is just my view, correct me if I'm wrong, it kind of looked like they were half ganking just to get that Athena ult.
It's very possible, but there was not much afterwards because Black Dragons got the Pyromancer. Yeah. Normally, when you force double ultimates for only 1 ultimate, normally you're the one getting the objective or forcing some sort of rotation. But ETs just were waiting passively here. They don't truly respect the gold that's coming out of this one objective. It's not just the gold fury here. Pyromancer gives you a hefty chunk as well.
I would have loved to see that same play with the gold fury up. Make Athena ult to the right side of the map and then go right to the objective. Because like we said, we've already identified that Kukulkan ultimate is going to knock down that gold fury better than Black Dragons can.
And because it was in the solo lane, the Athena, she's like, all right, I'm already here. Let's just start the Pyromancer. They did us a favor. Black Dragons, they didn't get the Gold Fury. They got the Pyromancer and a couple kills. Towers in their favor. So I think the next play here is to maybe force something out in mid and go for that tier 1.
Oh shit, misses the root, so Neek will get away.
force the beats out of Silva. Nice little play here. It's going to enable another backline penetration by Oship with the blink, with his ultimate, an easy target.
Well, there's an easy target right there. Jump to the right-hand side. Ula should have the option, and he does. Marcel's number 5.
Not being able to channel that ultimate in time. Nan actually goes into the Ratatasker, thinking that he would have maybe found the chase down. I think he transformed in anticipation of that Rat ultimate and then just jumping through the branches alongside him.
Yeah, non-transformed into the Rat, kind of like, I'll help. Oh, y'all already did it. Let's get the buff.
Yeah. Get our own red buff. Buff secured.
That said, better safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
Right? Better safe than sorry.
You have an ultimate. If you're not in any danger, just use it. Now, it is a little bit of a longer cooldown. We're looking at his cooldown being at 115 seconds. If you level this ability, it actually reduces the cooldown, whereas the third ability, while you're leveling that increases your mobility during the stealth form. So that's a different style of how you want to play the Morgan.
Yeah, so interesting stuff. The Morgan's such a complex character. Really only sees a lot of success at the pro level. When Morgan turns into another character, her abilities, the way she ranks them up, will actually become the way that character is. So she has 5 points in her first and her second ability. When she transforms into anybody else, those 2 abilities will be maxed. So if she's looking to transform into the Rat more often, that 1 and 2 are going to be that much more powerful.
Well, you don't have to worry about that once you're level 20, but before that, you definitely do, and pay attention to that. However, it's still not a bad idea to pick the Morgan regardless, just for ultimate abilities and looking for it. And considering that most players are maxing out the second ability on Morgan first anyway, there's a decent amount of poke damage from other gods. Ratataskers too, Shred's physical penetrations here. Going into Robin, you're going to be maxing out that kick instead. Not the most ideal target. Maybe switch to the Rat instead. Right.
Black Dragons now have positioning on the objective. You can see the Ratatasker up in the sky. Kukulkan getting aggressed on. Immune was the ultimate by the Robin, but you can't immune that. Robin takes care of business, and Marcel's puts lucky number 7 up on the board. 5 versus 3 for this Gold Fury pull. Black Dragons are going to zone by way of Kliz as well, and the Gold Fury is going to push them up even further. That's a 3,300 gold lead.
That play is brought to you by the earlier Athena taunt, forcing out the beads from Silva. Recognizing this, Oship dove the backline, just like I called it, and took advantage of this Kukulkan that doesn't have a natural escape. He only has a mobility increaser, and even then, not even much defenses or health to write about. Trying to fight fire with fire, finishing off the Warlock stack, but he's so many stacks down, only sitting at 11 stacks as opposed to 99 from Nan.
I love the Kukulkan selection. Kliz getting grouped on by 2, does have help in the jungle. Oship coming here. There's the sprint popped by ET, looking for the defensive lead. Nice stun coming out from Kliz. Thorns is going to thwart for just a moment, but it's 3-on-1. The Artio by herself finds the group stun, but is still here fighting.
She's buying herself some time just to heal. She doesn't want to dash away. Meanwhile, Marcel's solos out EXT, sitting at about 20% health there. Now in the solo lane though, Margot was kind of trying to bait out cooldowns to allow Chris to go back in, but he was at 30% health, 40 maybe. And as a Ratatasker, that's that squishy. You're not going to go back into 3 people there.
ET will pick up the mid lane tower, consolation prize, as their right side tower falls down, so net gold gain will be about 0. ET here, you know, talking about the Hunter matchup, man, Marcel's and EXTT were once very even. I mentioned EXTT took some time off, and Marcel's has just absolutely handled him here in lane, finally getting that solo kill. When you've coached players that have taken time off, how long does it take a player to sort of get back into their mindset?
Maybe a couple weeks tops. Doesn't take very long. It's more about being able to trust your teammates there. That was more of a pride thing for EXT that he did. He was at Marcel's tower. It wasn't like he was defending his own tower and he was forced into a bad spot as Silva falls down yet again to Oship. It's more about being able to recognize your power spike. EXT goes for Rage, doesn't have Deathbringer here, and he's fighting into an Ullr that has Crusher.
And just as quickly as we saw the last one go down, Margot lasts for an extra second, but will fall down to the grouping of Black Dragons here in the middle lane. Almost 20 minutes on the clock. And Black Dragons have amassed a 6,000 gold lead. They're feeling themselves right now, Tully. And the group up at the siege is right about here.
It's time. Now or never, honestly. It's a 5-on-3, and sieging against a Cuckoo Clan is very difficult. So
Yeah.
abusing the fact that he just now revived is prime time for Black Dragons.
There's the flank coming out from O-Ship, looking on the EXTT. Tower down to about 10%. One shot to do it. That'll bring it down. Tier 2 falls. Black Dragons get that much richer.
And that's all it takes, honestly. Abuse the numbers advantage. Honestly, once Silva is up, sieging those Phoenixes is not going to be easy between all the different routes defensively you can take. Now that that Phoenix area has been widened, created a few more entrances and exits, there could be more safety.
Right now, Kliz doesn't need an exit. He's going to help Chris find it, and by himself, EXCT falls down. Kliz gets the double kill. 2-0 and 4 for the beloved solo laner. Non here, switching into the Ratatasker. Going to find the zoning ult. And Fire Giant seems to be the target for Black Dragons, and they're 13 kills.
Another 2 quick picks. Very unfortunate for EXT because he had 5 seconds remaining on his purification bead as Marcel's and Kliz are doing the Fire Giant. More zoning coming out of P-Bay, just making sure that nobody's going to be anywhere close to steal this. As long as Silva can be accounted for, there's no threat for Black Dragons.
Ton of damage coming out from Marcel's. Basically did that by himself. Kliz not exactly building in the offensive style. So, ton of damage coming out from that. Ooh, 5-0 and 1, level 19. Certainly a good game for Marcel's here.
Absolutely, and Fire Giant is very difficult to solo, so you're going to want to have somebody to tank it up. A Bellona that's that tanky with her Scourge up.
That's supposed to be a support character, Toli. O-Ship and Marcel's just melted him.
Yeah, but you got 2 players with Fire Giant right next to each other. It's going to be a pretty easy kill. Level 13 to call it. Pretty easy. Sovereignty and Hardware Amulet, it's not that much here considering that this is a huge difference of gold. 10,000 in the lead is Black Dragons.
A lot of what Kakulin brings to the table has a lead almost intended, right? Kakulin is this unkillable, unstoppable force. When you put him in the support role, without a Guardian's Blessing, by the way, which is essentially New Watcher's gift, he's rocking the Warrior's Blessing that the solo leaders have. He's just not able to keep up, and a Kakulin behind is one of the more, I mean, what can he do?
He was the first victim when the game started, trying to make that bold play at level 1. It's something that needs to be pulled back a little bit, that kind of aggression. Yes, you're a warrior in the support lane. Yes, you could be aggressive, but not when you're this far behind. It's time to reassess how you're going to play around these team fights. The only real thing that Neek is bringing to these team fights is a little bit of anti-healing on his 1 and a huge knock-up on his primary ult.
Yeah, I do not like this Kakulin choice as we see more and more go on. Silva on the Kukulkan, I like this option, but there is no real traditional peel. There's no Athena taunt. There's no, I mean, Ymir freeze I think I would have liked more than the Kakulin. You can do all those when you're behind, by the way. Kakulin can't pull it off by himself when he's this far behind.
Trying to peel for his backline. O-Ship diving in, finds EXT alongside Kliz. Marcel's waiting for the rat engage in the backline. Neeks wants to disengage.
And that was a bigger ult coming out from the blue rat there. Knocking up 3. But it doesn't seem like it's going to do much of anything as Marcel's able to tunnel damage into this Phoenix. There's the blink forward aggressively coming out from Black Dragons, but O-Ship could be in trouble, hanging on by a thread. P-Bay trying to help out, can't do it, but the objective is taken. Mid lane Phoenix falls just as Margot gets the kill on O-Ship.
And now the Titan is vulnerable for ETs. 14,000 in the lead is Black Dragons. They're not done yet though. They're setting up an ambush. Silva left alone, uses his ultimate off the mark, and Marcel's with the axe.
Just crushing it. 7-0 and 2 for the Brazilian Uller. Chasing out of the right-hand side. This mid lane Phoenix is already dead. So Black Dragons clean up some of the nonsense and look for the tower on the right lane. Easy to fall, and then the Phoenix will be the next one.
Better safe than sorry. Without O-Ship to tank those Phoenixes, get the last remaining tier 2 tower off the map. Granted, you could potentially siege 4-on-4 here because there's no Kukulin that you, or sorry, Kukulane. How do you say?
Kukulkan.
Kukulkan. Okay.
No, Kukulkan.
Kukulkan. Okay, I'm gonna let you handle the pronunciation.
Kukulkan.
You need to be a voice actor for that particular character.
Cool. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna end it on that. But anyway, realistically, 4-on-4 with Silva still in the graveyard. They could have maybe looked for another Phoenix. They could have switched to the left side of the map, but better safe than sorry. Get set up for the next Fire Giant objective that's coming up momentarily.
Left side. Oh, ship trying to cause some trouble. Margot and Chris go different directions. Chris takes to the sky because he gets bursted on.
Almost lucky was Black Dragons. That blink from Oshep is just so powerful here. It is such a high-risk, high-reward to go Warriors jungle, Warrior support. We saw a lot of Warrior jungle in Season 4, but honestly, I think Assassins are making their comeback in Season 5.
Oh, absolutely.
With Assassin's Blessing, especially if you're able to fully clear with one ability at level 1 on the speed buff. That's what's going to enable you to make that early game presence felt.
Assassins have kind of come back into the mainstream here in Season 5 for a number of reasons. Assassin's Blessing is nice as Oship just takes 1 versus 2 and eliminates XT. Itemization. Heartseeker, Crusher, all items that bode well. We talked before about it being a gank-centric meta. Junglers that can pop out and kind of burst you down. Very, very big deal. And, you know, in this meta, in this world, there's so many available options. We've seen Naja, Bastet, Warrior Jungle like Oship, maybe taking a little bit more than he can chew. But
Wow.
we've seen a number of options.
That Athena ultimate just buying him even more time. Oship is truly a man amongst men here, just being an absolute beast in the backline. He made a little bit of a mind game play earlier against EXT. It's like, I'm leaving. Wait, JK, no, I'm not. I'm going to ulti your face off.
Yep.
And he was still there the whole time while the rest of his team was securing that second Fire Giant objective. For good reason here. Now with this 19,000 goal lead, Black Dragons are now in a position to close the game out.
And see, that's the luxury that you do. We were talking very highly of assassin jungles. Warrior jungles still have their spot.
Yes.
And that's the luxury of that warrior jungle, having that fantastic ability
Yes.
to zone the enemy out.
He's still building as an assassin with all the items you mentioned. The Crusher, Heartseeker, Jotun's Wrath as well. His only defensive item is going to be that Mantle of Discord probably. And it's just based, or it's going to be a Spirit Robe.
I like that.
There's not too much CC to have to worry about. It might have been a situation where he didn't have that much gold to secure the Mantle of
I
Discord.
think he's just worried about a knockup.
It's
Because if
possible.
he gets knocked up, he can't kick in the air, and then he dies.
It's very
But
true.
other than that, he's fine.
Neek could find that knockup with that Kukulkan support.
Or the rat ultimate, right?
Very
If
true.
you knock the Robin up, you can probably burst him down with a Kukulkan ultimate, right? If you don't, he's gonna flip kick it.
Pretty much.
He's just gonna immune whatever
And
you
that's
do.
what he did earlier on in this
Yeah.
game when he chased down Silva that didn't have the beads. Interesting other relic selection trying to survive a little bit longer was the Bracer instead of the Exant.
I love the brace. We're seeing some mid laners pick that up. We'll pick up that conversation in just a moment. Up, down, from below, and Clint's feeling strong, just trying to separate the mage from everybody else. Backside, however, not getting in trouble, able to deal out trouble himself. Still very low, but it just do not matter. Marcel's and Oship combined to take out another, and that might be game.
Absolutely. Nan going for the safe route, switching to Oship at level 20, having all the abilities maxed out. Oship takes out the 4th member. Silva's dead. It's only Neek, this Kukulkan support, and I don't expect him to be able to solo everybody from Black Dragons.
Black Dragons hits Blackjack with 21 7 times. Their opposition's kill count 22-33 being the final score there in just under 28 minutes of play. Just game number 1, however. Black Dragons do have another game and potentially 2 if ET are able to step it up in game 2.
Really showing their true power, this international team Black Dragons that everybody's seen at Worlds, but ETs, keep in mind, they've gone the distance against Black Dragons in the Super Regionals. I wouldn't be surprised if they switch it up here, their style. Play a little bit more on the careful side. Don't go too bold as to go into Kukulkan support, trying to get something happening at level 1, level 2. Maybe even take away the Uller from Marcel. Allow EXT to play it if he's going to try to find the 1v1 at the tower line.
Yeah, for me, it's all about the Cucullin. That pick just didn't happen. And when it comes down to, Warrior versus Guardian, I'm not in that conversation. I look at God versus gods. There are Warriors that could have filled that role much better than the Cucullin. I'm looking at you, Hercules. I'm looking at anybody that has peel for that Kukulkan in the mid lane, because I think that was one of the biggest issues. The problem was the mid laner just wasn't safe enough. Picks and bans for game number 2, Toli. What do you want to see different here?
Just a better support, honestly. Even going for a Guardian support, ignore the idea behind boxing a level 1. Go for a more team fight centric pick. Sylvanas was potentially another idea here. Sylvanas, funny enough, with a Hunter's Blessing, controls the dual lane even better than a Cucullin support.
Yeah, that Hunter's Blessing, the new starter item, just adds damage on your basic attacks. And Sylvanas has those AoE sort of acorns, I guess. I don't know. He has an AoE basic attack. I'm going to stay away from the lore. And with that Hunter's Blessing, makes it really, really oppressive in lane. Black Dragons banning out the Robin and the Thoth. I guess they didn't want to pick it first here, and it did so well that they were threatened.
Well, Nemesis is available with these picks, and I think Black Dragons are going for it right off the bat. Blink, Assassin, Junglers are where it's at in Season 5. Nemesis are going to be a highly contested pick, and not only Brazil, probably other regions to follow.
Expect to see Nemesis at the top of the picks and bans for a long time. Even if some of the itemization gets changed, she just does so well. She's mobile, she's a great assassin at just killing people, but she also cuts tanky characters down, which is very, very important. The Ulu will be selected by XTT, and across the lane we'll see Cucullin for Black Dragons. Whether that winds up in the jungle or the solo lane, we have yet to see.
ET definitely focusing on the dual lane. We recognize their weakness there between the Jing, Wei, Cucullin not working out for them. What do? They take away Marcel, Zuler, and they actually pick a teamfight-centric support, such as the Sylvanas. We'll see what he elects to start off, if he wants to feel a little bit frisky with that Hunter's Blessing, or go for a more safer option.
Yeah, I love the adaptation that ETs have already had. Going to go the Bologna as well. Across the way, Athena was selected as the Guardian of Choice for Black Dragons. Second round of bans here, folks. It's really thinking time. We've silenced the music. So the Giannis is going to be the ban out for ET.
Just seems that ET doesn't like dealing with that kind of mobility. Despite them having the next pick, that could have been an option that they went for, allowing for more rotations to happen. With the map being so much bigger, Giannis becomes that much better. We could even see more mobility gods such as Amaterasu enabling their team's movement speed to increase. Nike is another option.
Very, very true. Daji banned out here next to the Susana. Annoying junglers is kind of what I see out of these bans. They're good, not great enough to be #1 pick ban, but good enough that they get under your skin. You can't get away from them, it feels like. Ao Kwang, though, kind of fits that bill.
So does Arachne potentially. So we could see that with some of the changes. Those triple webs. Hey, you laugh, but it's really, you talk about annoying junglers. There's none more annoying when there's 2 little spiders chasing you down, creating a web beneath your feet.
Don't fight the bug, as an old friend of mine used to say. It's been since 2012. You just don't fight the bug. We're not going to see her, thankfully. Soul and Discordia selected here. Discordia, the mage of choice here for the mid lane. And Black Dragons are going to stick Soul in that hunter position.
Habwa.
And this is a character that I think a lot of fans at home have been waiting for. Hebo has been all over the ranked scene. The casuals have been playing it a lot. But we haven't really seen him sort of poke up here successfully at the pro level, because we're just starting. But to see him picked way down there, I think a lot of fans at home are kind of surprised.
It's just a team identity thing. In ranked specifically, it's a highly contested pick because it'll just burst you down in a 1v1. But in a team-focused game such as here in the SGS Brazilian region, there's going to be a lot of attention around this Habwa. Looking at the composition from Black Dragons, expect a Nemesis to go in there. However, Habwa can play around that. With the water carpet, he's just able to immune the souls for not only himself and his teammates. So maybe Nemesis was not the pick necessarily, but you can't really expect a Habwa immediately after.
Well, we'll see how it shapes up. Black Dragons ETs, game number 2 in a best-of-3 series. We're going to see the Habwa in that middle lane, actually, which is very interesting. We knew that it was coming because the Ao Kwang was in the jungle. But if you are, like I said, if you haven't been playing at home, Habwa has been very successful in the jungle as of late. half HP on PB already. He's talking about making adaptations in that duo lane.
The root just sets up so much damage from EXT. He is not hesitating. You talked about him having a break. He does not care. He's actually wasting a little bit too much mana here. He should be slightly more conservative considering the wave is right there. Maybe allow Neek to set him up with another root. Once the root happens, then you can go for it. But talk about adaptations. Look what Black Dragons are doing here.
Yeah, so they got pushed out of lane. No chance in hell in really coming back, even without that Hunter's Blessing that we mentioned. They just go for their buff. They're going to collect a couple of minions under the tower. Another big thing to mention here in Season 5, you still get gold for minions under the tower. Not the full amount. You're only getting about 3 or 4 gold per minion that actually gets hit by the tower. But it's something. You used to get 0.
That's true. That's a huge change where that's going to allow you to play a more defensive composition and maybe lose, levels 1 through 3, and then once you hit level 6, 7, 8, specifically maybe Soul Lane in the 1v1, that's when you're going to start making your power spike. We saw in the last game, Margot Anna was playing the RDO. She was being a big bully at level 8, but you can't really do the same thing at level 2 at RDO.
No, not quite. Not quite just yet here. I was talking about the Hebo and how he was a little bit more successful in the jungle than the mid lane because he's safer. You just don't know where he is. You can it's harder to camp the jungler these days. The mid lane, however, much different story. I want to see a lot of Black Dragon jerseys in this mid lane just giving Hebo the business.
EXT jumping and stunning out PB. Just going to hit him with those axes. Now switching to bow stance. Great poke on the side of ETs. They are not fearful whatsoever, despite losing rather decisively in that last game.
You got to have that, as I say, the quarterback memory, right? Play per play, game per game. You got to come in fresh. Chris coming in fresh here in the solo lane. A little bit of damage. The sprint is popped. Is a full commit at level 3. That's going to be the eject.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was Chris tanking the tower.
Needed to switch.
Needed to be the Bologna instead. A little off the mark there. Either way, poking out Kliz a lot there, actually. Still having a regular health potion, and he still has that Warrior's Blessing for sustain. He should be fine.
Big taunt in the dual lane and a P-Bay. Not going to deal as much damage as he'd like to. ET.
Smart thing that PB did there. Not too many Athenas do that, at least from what I've seen, where you have to... Some Athenas will just dash from melee to the archers, but what he did there was he walked towards the archers, still uses the dash, but now he's in a safer spot, closer to his tower, closer to his hunter.
Agni style, right?
Yes.
Use the dash backwards. If you're using your dash for clear, you're probably in a dangerous spot, so be a little bit
Especially
careful.
Against that two gods from ETs. You're not going to want to do that unless you see them running away. As I say that.
Caster's curse.
Yeah. A little bit of poke.
Nice poke out of that hop wand. Like I said, that's going to be Black Dragons. They're really going to have to pay a lot of attention to that. Red buff invade thwarted. No, not quite. Trouble. As O-Ship finds himself first blooded. Nice rotation out of the duo lane. XTT claiming that one.
Slightly overcommitting towards that red buff invade. Sure, you got it, but at what cost? Giving the first blood to an ruler that's trying to finish a Transcendence. Couldn't ask for anything better, honestly. I would gladly trade my red buff as a hunter for first blood, especially if that's going to give me a power spike play over my opposition.
I mean, just look at the net worth chart right here. 3,000 gold just about for Uller, and across the way that soul, certainly not the case. That's just that raw first blood gold given to him, and that's going to be a nice lead, especially for this hunter, because when you're playing against the magical hunter, O-Ship finds himself in trouble one more time. Nice. He avoided.
But that's going to allow a round 2 attempt later down the road. No the beads are going to be on cooldown for about 150 seconds.
Was that a skin like taunt?
I think it was an Ao Kuang kind of interaction there, maybe against a Sylvanas or against somebody that just barely got away.
Okay, it sounded like a PA, like, get out of the build. I was so confused. I'm so sorry for interrupting the broadcast. That really got me. Oh man.
Kliz, though, he could be in a little bit of trouble in general. Whenever you're against a physical soul laner and a magical jungler,
That's troublesome.
you got to build one way or the other. It's difficult to build around both, which is why we're seeing not only Warrior's Blessing here, but also those reinforced Greaves.
I love the reinforced Greaves pickup. I absolutely love this. You're getting 40 power from Warrior Talent, right? Attack speed on the Cucullin, I don't really care about, right? So that's not even an option. Talaria boots you're getting 10 power from, and the tank boots I think you're also getting 10 power from. But I think the Cucullin makes so much more use of the defensive stats than 30 power. I will trade 30 power for the way the tank boots, you get tankier as you get focused. The more people that pile damage into you, the more protections you get. It's just so much more useful.
EXT in a lot of trouble here. Marcel is using that ultimate Supernova in great effect, but not forcing out the purification beads. EXT knew what he can get away with. Going back to the soul lane discussion here also, there's a lot of things that can proc those reinforced Greaves, specifically the Sylvanas engage between the Wrath of Terror and throwing out those wisps. It's a lot of damage over time, which can proc those stacks.
Here walking aggressively into lane, he and his Hunter certainly have control this time around. Right side, different story. Chris in trouble for ET. Blinks away, nice moves on the AO Kwang. He's invisible and he'll find an exit.
They don't hear him going underneath. He's trying to back. All right, the archers are not hitting him. That's the worst feeling when you're like backing and then the lone archer in the mid lane is like, nope.
Hits you for like 4 and you're sitting there. Okay, thanks. Yeah. You always gotta. I always say you gotta look both ways before you cross the street.
Yes.
A lot of times you make that wrap around the towers and you just pull the whole wave into the jungle.
And the way you can kind of tell if that's going to happen to you is you look at your own mini map to see where your wave is in the middle lane, and then you try to find out, okay, my wave is between tier 1, tier 2, that means their wave is the same location.
Kliz 1 versus 2 will go back and pick up the blue buff that he invaded. Nice dodge of the bludgeon, still relatively tanky, but that's going to change. Knocked up and knocked all the way up. Chris gets the second kill with the execute off of the Hebo.
Getting that passive stack, more lifesteal, more magical power now for Ao Kwang. Needs 2 more to fully finish stacking.
That didn't catch me that time.
All right, I don't know if that's like directly a taunt or if that's like just an interaction
Ao Kwang
after an
just walks
execute.
around talking on the map.
Pretty much, you know when you're like bored and you just start talking to yourself, like trying to get through the day. That's what Chris is doing to himself.
What?
Yeah.
You
Look, he's just laughing and everything.
I do see this. I like the attitude, sure.
Yeah,
Be positive.
yeah, absolutely.
My
Encourage
blood
a positive team environment.
ET is certainly thinking positive here. It's like best of 3 series, and they lost the first game. So coming out with not just first blood, but the follow-up kill and a nice little 5,000 gold lead here. I mean, this is clearly they're not in the driver's seat or winning the game, but this is the tone shift that you want from game 1 to game 2.
It's something, and it's a statement that they're making.
Big
It's
deal.
a statement saying that we're not just going to go down like that. Yeah, you guys beat us 22-3, 28 minutes in the game, but this is game 2 in a best of 3. We're going to come out fighting, and I like what they're done here. They made their picks work thus far.
Absolutely.
Silva is still relaxing right now on this Habwa, hasn't made any statement. It's level 8, trying to finish that Book of Thoth. Going to have a lot of mana.
Which is weird.
Yeah, but having a lot of mana in general to be able to spam the water carpet and use abilities like that, not a bad thing, especially if he's going to get Book of Dead later on.
Very true. Very true. Book of the Dead, a newer item, gives you some shield, which he needs, obviously, as he uses the ultimate defensively. Finds a way out, dodges the Discordia nonsense. Strife won't hit him that time, and Silva gets out alive.
Neek doing a great job body
Keep it.
blocking that Discordia ultimate. In the solo lane, though, a little bit of discussion here, trying to find out Kliz. Double taunt there, but no follow-up. Kliz is on cooldown.
You know, so that's something that's undervalued, or I think underestimated by fans at home about Athena at the pro level, is that a lot of times what professional teams and professional players do will have 2 engagements at the same time in this early to mid laning phase where you can't make the rotation to the solo lane because we're already fighting in that mid lane. Having the Athena player be clear of everything, able to make an impact in that fight in the mid lane, and still have the wherewithal to affect the fight on the right side of the map, it's not easy. It's really tough when everybody in comms, because Kliz is saying, I need help, I need help. Mid lane is dictating the team fight. I'm knocked up. Hebo carpet down. Taunt here, taunt there. So much is going on in comms, and you still have to be aware of what else is going on in the map. That's something that I don't think a lot of people sort of take into account when they think of high-level Athena play.
And these players on Black Dragons have been playing together for just so long.
Yeah.
Well over a year now between the 5 of them. So their communications are not, not your typical rank communications, where everyone's just kind of like trolling or whatnot. But here, it's definitely going to be not quiet, but like
Kliz is never quiet.
Clear. It's going to be crystal clear. Everything is for a reason.
Very true. Right now, Kliz in some trouble. A lot of attention being paid here to the solo laner as Chris finds kill number 3. Black Dragon still with a goose egg. Nemesis shading over. Playing with fire here.
I think Kliz's ultimate just came off cooldown. Without any sort of CC immunity, it's an easy opportunity for Chris to find these kills. On the backside, though, Silva looking for an opportunity on Discordia. Needs one more water cannon here. He might even ulti here. He does!
Oh, and he finds the kill. That's the big damage that we know from Hebo.
Oh.
Taunted into the tower. PB gets the kill onto Silva. Meanwhile, duo lane. Totally, you asked for the adaptation of the duo lane.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
The shell. Oh, it doesn't matter.
He gets the kill. I didn't expect that. I did not expect that. Wonderful that we were flying third person there. The talent to turn around, throw the 3, and run away, that was impressive.
Very impressive indeed. Even the shell not making an impact on the safety between the damage mitigation from Athena ultimate, the damage reduction from the shell as well.
Ooh.
Still trying to find more, though.
I like the shot from Neat.
One more in hand would have found that kill. EXT is feeling themselves, and we were talking about the dual lane adaptations. ETs have certainly made it here.
Yeah, I mean, EXTT now doesn't look like he's missed a beat. Meanwhile, Margot baiting for her jungler. Chris gonna walk away, leaving Kliz at about half HP. Chris, without that ultimate, doesn't seem to really want to commit, especially on a tanky character like Kliz. Getting that warrior down to 0, a little bit rough. Getting him down to execute threshold, a little different.
Between Warrior's Blessing and Gladiator Shield, decent amount of sustain for Kliz to be able to get above the execute threshold. Could have been more patient with the dragons to slow after the sprint had faded away also, making you immune to the slows. But either way, I like the fact that Chris is leaning on the solo lane. Not having Purification Beast because you're a solo laner allows for more stacking opportunities for Chris.
Yeah, I love what Chris is doing here. Again, talking about a jungle-centric meta. Keep that on hold real quick. eBay looking like he wants to start something. Not going to be anything, really. But it's also about where you choose. You can be up 5-1 and not be making a great impact if you're ganking the wrong lane. I like that Chris is choosing to stick to the solo lane. One, he's got the execute, so he's going to get the kill. Itemizing, you touched on, is tougher when you have to deal with physical and magical. And keeping this Kakulin down, we saw what happened to a Kakulin that was behind in game number 1.
Yes.
Literally did nothing, Neek. Now here, I think it's the same idea.
It's also the itemization. It's unfair to compare a Kakulin support and a solo lane that's building differently.
Very true.
Going utility auras between hardware damage and sovereignty versus damage items or tanky items, such as the way Kliz is going.
Tanky,
It's just absolutely different. You're being able to stay in the fight longer with the Gladiator Shield as opposed to the HP 5 that sovereignty will provide you.
Glad Shield is a huge pickup specifically against that Outcrog, talking about itemizing against it.
Ooh, I think Nan got spotted.
This objective.
I'm pretty sure he got spotted, but the damage, the through-the-wall orb here, Nan's going to use that third ability, get some CC immunity, but still going to get chased down.
Nice choice to hold on to the ultimate there. Chris knew he had the damage without the execute to take care of the Discordia. Meanwhile, there's Oshib on the Nemesis.
One more hit will do it.
Oh, she can't catch up.
Sprint.
There's a sprint.
Needs
Wins
the
the slice and
slice.
dice. 9 seconds. Can't find it.
So unfortunate.
But it's enough. He chased Margot Anna out of it. Unfortunately, across the way, Gold Fury, no defense. Black Dragons let it go to ET, and and they trail by about 3K.
I'm surprised Marcel's didn't try to do anything about that. Between Stellar Burst, Supernova, that is steal potential. There's the only burst you have to worry about is Habwa, and maybe an ultimate to kind of.
You know what it is? You know what it is compositions. We always talk about objective secure, but I think there's a composition has you can rate a composition on the ability to peel from an objective and switch a target to a player.
Sure. We
never really do that, but let's do that right now. ET is going to switch off of that Gold Fury, knock you up with Hebo, and delete you. Like, there's nothing you can do. So I think if Marcel shows his face, if Silva hits that knockup, he's dead.
Between Disapparate, Beats, and Aegis, he
You're
can
not
buy
going to get a
himself
chance
time.
to Disapparate. You're going to die before you hit the floor.
Could be
Knock
the
up,
case.
Waterhand, XT with the combo. Where were you, Soul?
As long as he can force the reset, that could be all it takes. But hold that thought, though, because Oshep wants to abuse this balloon that actually does have Eagle's Rally available, and around the corner is coming Chris.
Yeah, it took a little bit too long there. Now Chris shows up, dealing damage to Oship, who does still have the ultimate available just now. Using it to deal out some damage. There's some help from Pibe. Taunt into the shield wall. Chris is going to be invisible down south, and Margot's going to walk away up north. Chris now being visible. There's the dash. The damage misses.
Doesn't matter, though. He can't get away here. He doesn't have the potential to blink through the wall for the slice and dice. Oshep finding the kill. A little bit of trouble, though, is Marcel's.
Marcel's missed everything. XT can find the shots, and will give him the taunt, and will give him the Aegis for fun. I took a break, but I'm still ready to bring it. I love that. I love how hard XT is coming out here because of how much he got smoked
Hold
in
that
game number.
thought, though. Non in a little bit of trouble. Forced to disengage under his tier 1 tower. Not committing to the Habwa ultimate. There's actually still on cooldown there. The blink from Silva was used there, which is why he was in a little bit of trouble early game, playing rather passive because he opted for that level 1 blink, expecting his teammates to kind of force the engagement first.
Force the
engagement.
Oh, okay. 17 minutes on the clock here. 9 kills in total, and ET have a full hand with 7. That's going to be Oship getting number 3 there for Black Dragons. Nice play. That is why Nemesis is so feared.
Especially when you have a taunt setting you up.
Yeah.
Neat without his CC immune ultimate there. Whenever you see Athena coming at you, dashing towards you as a Sylvanas, you're expecting to get taunted. You're a big old tree.
Yeah.
You're trying to knock people up around you, but trying to catch Nan earlier on without any sort of reward means you're going to get punished now.
Pyromancer right side is the objective of choice for ET with Gold Fury down. Here come Black Dragons dashing on in. That Pyromancer is going to go down. This time around, it will be taken by ET. There's the fight after the fact. Pibe in trouble, looking for the execute, doesn't even need it. Margot takes down the Athena.
Nan coming in, using the ultimate here. It's going to bounce through the walls. The skull is not going to find the right target. So 1 pick on Pibe, but he'll be back up with his Defender of Olympus in 20 seconds or so. They're not too worried about any other objective. Gold Fury's not up for another minute or so. Fire Giant, a little bit too early to be started here, 18 minutes in the game.
A little bit too early. I would say a little bit too early for the FG. Black Dragons here. Down but not out. 4K is absolutely a lead that I want to fight into. Now, you got to be a little bit more crafty with your team fights, but you're not looking down the barrel of a gun like an 8,000 gold lead totally. So how does Black Dragons get crafty? Do they find a pick before they fight, or what?
Lean on Pibe. Allow Pibe to get the engagements going. Look for the easy taunt and the potential follow-up. Taunt into Strife from a Discordia.
Yeah.
If you can find doubles, as Jeff Hindle loves to say, you're going to win that team fight every single time.
Sneak here. Being chased by Oship. Oship running away as soon as XT shows his face. Jumps over the wall. Level 18. The axe is going to miss, but the bladed arrow won't. Here's help from Hebo. Blinking on in. Trying to find the damage. Can't. Pibe is the target now. Nemesis comes on back. ET realized they got surrounded, and so they got out of that team fight.
Beautiful taunt, allowing Oship to disengage just in the nick of time. Slight miscommunication for ETs. They popped a sprint when it wasn't truly necessary. That carpet was available for the slow immunity. They were totally fine, but because they got people out of the way,
Right.
they're going to group up and get this tier 1 mid tower.
Well, around the back is Oship. Doesn't have the ultimate, but still able to deal a lot of damage. However, that Habwa, 40% with the water cannon. That's going to be troublesome. Tier 1 tower in the mid lane falls down. Margot making the rotation. Keep an eye on EXTT on the left as well. Going to be dealing with some of the nonsense. Anybody trying to find a flank will get met with an axe to the face.
Silva in a little bit of trouble trying to get away. Nan's ultimate is going to hit EXT in the backline. Eagles rally going to get into the thick of things as Kliz on 4.
I love Oship's decision to turn around and bring the damage from the Athena into the fight. Kliz, on the other hand, versus the world, coming up big. Margot in trouble, gonna toss out the bludgeon, likely to fall. Taunt into Marcel's, that's kill number 5. Black Dragons clawing their way back into it. Still down 5K.
Silva forced to use that ultimate defensively, and this is the difference between a Kukulkan in the solo lane versus support. Kliz showing the true impact, transforming at the right timing, finding the multiple knockup, the multiple rage war cry, just to get people a little discombobulated here. Allows for a Golfier to get back into the game slightly.
Nice stuff from the Brazilian vets here. 3,400 exactly is what they're down by. ET with a nice game number 2 here. That was a mistake by ET. They can't. You're kind of allowed one strike with that 4,000 gold lead, right? You lose, and now you're only up 3,000. You don't have that many more mistakes allowed. So ET gotta clean up. Don't allow that to happen too many more times, and we'll see a game 3.
It was just like I mentioned before. Pibe caught the last gazelle in the back of the pack, and it was Silva that was there, taunted in a bad spot, allows Kliz to basically zone Silva away from the rest of the team fight. And a Habwa that's not doing damage, well, what's the point of even playing Habwa then? You have to be relatively close, so don't get poked out. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, that's the biggest deal when I see Hebos or Habwas, played at a high level, is very rarely do I look at the slash line, right? Because Hebos are going to find those last hits with water cannons and even knockups. I always look at the player damage. How high or low is it? How is the enemy team controlling the Hebo? Right there, the answer is they're not. Oship is getting controlled by the Hebo and smacked down.
There's the damage that you were asking for. 900 damage ultimate, sitting at level 18 here. Doesn't even have a full build. Only sitting on 4 completed items, but now they want more.
Yeah, there's going to be the dash in. Discordia ultimate off the mark again, unfortunately. Neek, however, finds 2 with the knockup, and Silva finds 1 with the hands. 3 ends, 1 death. Still continue on the right-hand side. Nice knockup is going to set up Kliz. Stop chasing the cool god. Go to the other side. But it seems like Chris doesn't even need you. Taking down Pibe by himself. 3 players down in BD jerseys. No interest in the Fire Giant. And this one's going to go the way of ET.
Silva just starting things off right for his team to try to get back into this set. At the rate that ET's is going, they are leaning onto this Habwa. As long as he's still healthy, he can catch people off guard. He can reposition himself with a water carpet and his teammates. And that could be the deciding factor. Black Dragons needs Pibe to get him out of the equation.
You know what's interesting? Last game, I lamented the draft from ETs because they didn't have any peel for the Kukulkan. Now, you don't have any traditional peel. You got a lot of damage peel, though, here for the Hebo, where if you do jump on a Hebo, you're getting knocked up, and Chris is going to hit you with the Ao Kuang nonsense. So you're not taunting or freezing an enemy. You're just killing them. That's good enough peel for me. The best type of crowd control, Totally, is a death.
It's true. However, for Oship, it's risky to try to full-on engage against the Habwa. You use a Nemesis ultimate, then you're going to see him fade into the sunset with his water carpet, just immuning that slow anyway.
Hebo, I wouldn't call him a counter to Nemesis, but I love watching Habwas play into Nemesis. Knock up into water cannon is enough to make a Nemesis kind of think twice. She might get that initial burst off you, but like you said, the Atlas is going to immune that slow as well. A lot of tools for Habwa to fight against the Nemesis in a world where not a lot of characters can fight into Nemesis.
I honestly think it's one of the best counters to Nemesis.
You think it's a straight counter?
I think it is, because obviously the slow immunity plays a big part, because
Very
it's
big deal.
team immunity slow. So it doesn't
That's
matter
huge,
who
actually.
Oship uses that ultimate on. Save that water carpet for the Nemesis ultimate, and save your water spout for the Nemesis shield.
Yeah. The water spout is definitely a big deal. Chris versus the Nemesis. Not the same matchup that we were talking about, however. And Chris walks away licking his wounds while the rest of his team is looking at the tier 2 tower on the left-hand side. Only one tower remains for Black Dragons. That's in the middle.
Ooh, the mid lane, though. Nice disengage, trying to get into his teammate,
Say hello to
Silva.
my friends! Oh,
Silva.
the ultimate. Used to close the distance. But not going to find a target just yet. I thought that was going to be Chris leading everybody to his team into the... That totally was a game-ending bait that Black Dragons did not take.
I like it. I like the disengage from Black Dragon. Silva used the blink and the ultimate, trying to get closer because honestly, he has 2 more ultimates between his 1 and his 3 anyway.
Like, he committed that hard because, and I really fiercely believe this. If you're able to get 1 or 2 picks here off of that play, you take this tower, you take the Phoenix easily. Habwa's gonna find another accidental pick during the Phoenix fight, and that's game.
I like
very
this bait.
important.
Silva just goes deep enough to disengage to bait out the Strife from Nan. That's the kind of high-level play.
Yeah.
That one ability without Strife, it makes it so much easier to enter the Phoenix. Now you don't have to worry about the madness effect.
Well, look at this area that the offensive team has to come through. Strife is virtually the same size as this little walkway, so you can't walk in there with it off cooldown. Discordia uses it. That invites ETs to come in here and make this play. It's going to be up in a couple of seconds, and that's why we see ETs back off one more time.
Silva still has his ultimate now, and it came off cooldown. He's looking for that right opportunity. Blink's available for him in 15 seconds. That could be the deciding factor. Using the water carpet to get a little bit quicker. Neek needs to maybe get something going here. His Blink's available.
Well, there's going to be one blink. He blinks, he knocks up, he finds the grab. Marcel's half HP, no focus on the Phoenix just yet. Back end, Hopwa's going to be focused on. He's going to be in trouble. Oh, shit! Gets the kill. The Jungle Nemesis finds himself successful. And the defensive set from Black Dragons. Kliz going to continue what his teammates started. Finding number 2. It's a 3-on-5. Black Dragon chasing up the middle lane. Do you like this play?
Oh my goodness, I love this play. They need something back into it because Fire Giant has been taken, so you can't do anything else on the map except maybe go for Gold Fury. However, with 2 dead people, you have enough time to get a tower and then fall back towards the Gold Fury. And the biggest factor that enabled Black Dragons to get that playoff was Oship killing Silva before the ultimate came off cooldown. That's the difference between getting a blink or an Aegis.
Yeah, very, very big deal. Very big deal that the Habwa died when he did. Like you said before, if you're not doing damage, what are you doing as the Water God here? So if you're able to take out that Habwa early in that team fight, he's not really going to be able to do much of anything. However, if you let him live, look at that soul gem in that last spot. He's going to blow you up.
Yes. Giving you some more healing as well for himself and his teammates.
Do you think a soul gem ultimate will one-shot players?
It'll be very close.
Because the way Soul Gem works, if we can take a closer look at Soul Gem, you basically build up a stack per ability used, and then you get 4 stacks, and then on your 5th ability, it just does a ton extra damage. I believe 40% extra damage.
You're also getting some more sustain off of this.
Also
item.
stats.
Yes. Also some stats as well. It's definitely going to be a one-shot if you can find the Water Sprout, getting the passive of the Habwa for the extra magical power. So yes, against some of these squishy targets, if you can get that 5th stack, you're going to find the kill.
Well, here is the Pyromancer, started up by ETs. Trying to goad Black Dragons into a full commit. There's Margot tossing her ultimate out there, and she's going to be Nemesis ultimated. And there's Thorn still in trouble, however. ETs, nice knockup coming out from Kliz. There's the control, but where's the damage? Just no follow-up coming up from Black Dragon.
Pull is not on the mark here from Nick. Kliz now is in trouble. Execute not even necessary. First victim. Kliz is out of here. 5 relatively healthy members, especially when Sneak continues using the Wisps here. I think there's still a lot of potential. Chris has his execute, and Oship is not looking very healthy.
You know, it worked out there, totally. I was afraid when Margot used her ultimate that early in the team fight, forced to go back, but it worked out here. quick. Fire Giant
Uh-oh,
goes down
the
a lot
taunt.
faster than both me and Black Dragons anticipated. Now the damage needs to follow suit. Damage on the right-hand side, also on the left, but Chris is the one that's going to put a dot on that. Silva follows up. Third player falls down in Black Dragon's unis, and ET's Fire Giant in tow, barking down. Look at him, Marcel.
the juice.
He's the next to fall. Margot gets kill number 2 on his slash line. 15-7 Toli. Is this the game?
It depends if Not can hit the perfect stripes. Chris Lim trying to go in the back line here. Eagles Rally even being used just to zone Non away to secure this first Phoenix of the game. 30 minutes in, ETs with their second Fire Giant. They're going to try to go for the end.
With that Roma Invicta, I thought that was call to retreat. Just get the Phoenix and be out. But when you've got the Habwa, you've got the damage. The Titan barely alive.
Oh
There's the Habwa
my
ultimate. Chris will get a last kill. 16-7. A half hour of play. We're going to a game 3.
That was very impressive at the very end there. That 1,300 damage Habwa ultimate. You gotta respect it. And that is the late game presence that you're feeling from the Habwa. You couldn't really target it down as a jungler. Nemesis, maybe going for a different jungler would have been better. But keep in mind, it was last picked.
Yeah. I really liked everything about that coming out from ETs. They lost game number 1 22-2.
Yeah.
22-3.
Yeah,
rather.
22-3.
And we sat here, we said, well, the dual lane was a problem. They didn't have any pressure, so they picked a Sylvanas Uller combo. Bam, there's the pressure, and they can fight into it. We wanted some more presence from the mid lane. Bam, we got it with the Habwa pick. Everything that went wrong in game number 1, ETs looked at it, fixed it, and then came to game 2 ready to fight.
And I think their picks, like you mentioned, was the deciding factor. Their playstyle didn't really change much.
No.
It was still EXT playing aggressive, just with a slightly different god and a different lane partner. So I don't think that that's going to change at all for game number 3.
Marcel's was, I think, there was a little bit left to be desired on that soul, whether it's magical versus physical. We've yet to see. We've got a third game coming up to find the victor here. We'll be right back after this.
we go once again. Foreign marriage, lying amen. Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright. 'Cause I'm the judge and jury, and you better check for all the bad things love can bring, all in the blind spot that we don't see. Wipe the dirt from your face, dry your eyes, and I'll play the edge. Ride along, there's a place where you belong. Shake your ass, don't you worry about the future, about the past. You will hurt the ones that love you, and they will hurt you right back. Sing along, our love is a heart attack. You better check for pulse. 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 So check for pulse. You better check for pulse. If it's goodbye, well, don't miss out. Head up high, come on, wave your flag. We're all in this without a clue. In the madness, but what can you do? Ride along, there's a place where you belong. Shake your ass, don't you worry about the future, about the past. You will hurt the ones that love you, and they will hurt you right back. Sing along, our love is a heart attack. Just ride along, there's a place where you belong. Shake your ass, don't you worry about the future, about the past. You will hurt the ones who love you, and they will hurt you right back. So sing along, our love is a heart attack. You better check for pulse. You better check for pulse. You better check for pulse.
wanna get closer, wanna come over, I wanna get moving, grooving. Your folks disapproving, we can have fun, yeah. Don't need no money, and we can be brilliant without millions.
Game 3. Welcome back, folks. If you're just joining us, it's Tom Battinger and Anatoly Alexeyev, and today we're in Brazil. Not literally, we're here in the studio, but we're covering Brazil as part of our SGS. Game number 3 already. Black Dragons took game number 1 really fantastically, but ET's Esports able to come back.
Both teams were actually on the chaos side when they found their victories here, so maybe that's going to be the strategy here for Black Dragons after they lost game number 2. I'm expecting a different switch up for them for trying to shut down the right primary targets. We haven't really seen too many ganks in the dual lane from either team, honestly. A lot of this action kind of was evolving around the jungle side action.
Yeah, for me, I think it's all about the play on the battlefield. Game number 2, adaptations of the picks and ban phase. I don't think the same here. Let's jump into P's and B's for game number 3 and see where these teams wind up. ETs versus BD.
BD going for chaos yet again here. They really want to get that, maybe the counter pick matchup in the solo lane, maybe making sure that ETs wasn't going to have that surprise Hobwa last pick that just basically disabled the Nemesis from using her ultimate.
Well, the Thoth ban and the Circuit ban have been here all series. The audio ban going to come out from ETs as well as the Nemesis ban. I think the Nemesis ban is perhaps the most important. But the audio ban kind of shows their hand a little bit. I think ETs are going to want to play characters that have that won't get shut down by the cripple.
First pick Sylvanas. I think the dual lane is the focus for ET with that kind of a style. But honestly, I think it was the Uller that enabled EXT to really pop off there. Sure, having those AoE in hands is nice for support, but at the end of the day, with such a frisky player like EXT, feed the hot hand.
I see you. And I respect where you're coming from. That's usually my train of thought. But I think the Sylvanas offers more control of the lane. A talented player like EXTT, coming off of a break, as we've noted, but been in the game for so long, I think you can give him a number of hunters. Hachiman, absolutely a character that's going to be able to be dominant as well. So Sylvanas Hachi, Sylvanas Uller. I think the Sylvanas is the key point in that lane for ETs. I love their selection there. They're going to bring Bologna as well to the party. As
long as EXT can peel it back and not be discouraged if he does fall behind in the early laning phase. That's why Sylvanas was probably picked up, get the sustain going there, make sure that they weren't going to lose the lane pressure. Now Kakulin is going to be answered for the Bologna.
Yeah, the Kakulin is going to cull some of the healing that the Sylvanas will bring as well, but Kakulin just phenomenal at controlling these team fights, whether it's by way of the push or the root or even the knockup, the ultimate. A lot of tools to really do whatever the hell he wants. Second round of bans, no burst from Hebo and no nonsense out of Susano. And the Morgan will be banned out by ETs next to the Cabrakan. Interesting choice.
So it's definitely lockdown that's a worrisome for for ETs. They don't want to have to worry about that kind of cage, but you could look for the Odin if you're on the side of BD, but Discordia is going to be locked in, which leads me to believe that there's going to be still one more Guardian to go through.
Yeah, the Cabrakan banned out despite Robin and Kakulin already selected. So showing that Black Dragons might have played that in their support role. Keep in mind, this is an open bracket tournament. This is a big bracketed tournament, so these teams have played a number of games before meeting here in the finals. Giannis finally unbanned and finally selected for ETs, and Chris will be playing on the Ao Kuang like he did last game. Played very, very well on the Mage Assassin, so I'm happy to see that. And the Ares will be the choice. You love that guy.
The cripple. It's also really important to catch Ao Kuang there. Potentially, you could just throw out the flames during the stealth. It's going to be very impactful to maybe even pulling Sylvanas after the Wrath of Terror. If Sylvanas blinks on you as an Ares player, I'm just going to ult to you every single time. And as long as you do it at the same time, you're going to be able to pull him after the duration of that Wrath of Terror and then look for the chains and find the easy kill.
Who you got game 3, Toli?
BD.
Let's get to it. Black Dragons, ETs, game 3, the finality of our series here for this week. Black Dragons took game 1. ETs took game 2. And now we're headed into game number 3. Clap on.
There's some claps, some friendly little claps there. They're applauding each other's efforts from that second game victory. Didn't have as much success in the first game, but Chris playing this Ao Kuang is different than the last game because of the mid selection for Silva. Habwa compared to Giannis, you don't have the same kind of burst, but if Chris ever wanted to play aggressive in enemy territory, you got those safety portals to bail you out.
That's what I was going to say was before it was, watch the dance party here. Before it was Chris and Silva kind of just finding the burst by way of themselves, kind of 50-50, right? Now, Chris is going to be doing more burst, and Silva is going to be allowing him to find those opportunities. So sort of a 70-30 split. Right away, looking for damage in the duo lane. Stun after the chain, sneaks half HP, and brought down even beneath it. Marcel says, hey man, this is how you play Uller.
I don't mind this play at all from Black Dragons, despite revealing their hand very early. Finding the chains yet again, not finding the third one, but look at all that damage. EXT is already at half health, and when you can abuse the Sylvanas at level 1, that's important because most Sylvanas, or like 99% of them, will start your route at level 1.
Right. I love P-Bay watching the double chain come out. You know, Ares is, that chain is not easy to hit, so coming out with the Ares, like to see the accuracy already from the Black Dragons dual lane. Find the pressure in lane, rotate into the jungle, and look for the invade there, the enemy purple, and no defense from ETs.
Last time ETs was able to secure their own purple, recognizing that they wouldn't be able to fight at level 1. However, this time they lose their purple, and Black Dragons is going to get back to the lane. There's going to be a quick level 2 here, and P-Bay could look for more poke.
P-Bay is going to get rooted out of that poke. Still, definitely controlled by Black Dragons. Different story on the other side of the map. ETs putting Kliz under the tower.
It seems to me that the rotation from Chris invaded the blue buff against Kliz. Margot picked that up for themselves. But on the left side, the red buff's being stripped from both sides. Neither of them picking their up. Mid laners, it takes so long to clear that first wave that sometimes you don't need red buff at level 1 anyway. You need those experience.
3 chains. Neeks gets stunned as well. The body blocks coming out from EXTT are great. How long till the hail of arrows? That's how long. And that's how you start a game. Marcel's putting his own mark on game 3.
I was curious if he was going to jump into the tower line. Great patience from Marcel's not doing so because the tower shots in Season 5 deal more damage than previous season.
Just had the patience knowing he had the damage. Does Chris have the damage here in the middle lane? The answer is no.
Unstable Vortex, just a little too short. Taking advantage of this Discordia at level 2, you're getting your 2 primary lane clear abilities, so you're not going to have that third ability to escape. Great opportunity. You're not finding the kill, but you're getting off great amount of poke. And every time you can force Non to back here, you're slowing down the progress of Warlock Staff and the ability to finish the blessing.
Well, here comes the blink from P-Bay. Chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. And there's going to be the sprint as well. Marcel's lands the hail of arrows. Too far away to find the bladed.
The sprint allowed ETs to get closer to the tower line, but trading relic for relic and being on the better receiving end of the damage war allows another purple buff invade for BD.
And just keeping up this, there's value in playing and getting in your opponent's head. It's not P-Bay sitting in lane and then chaining players up. It's blinking. It's coming out from the side, from the jungle. Surprised you're chained is what we're seeing time and time again out of this Ares. I think that's an important point to bring home, is that the fact that ETs can't be comfortable in this dual lane at all.
And it slowed down the itemization for Neek. He's forced to go for the Oracle Chalice, making sure that he keeps the left side of the jungle warded in case P-Bay is hiding around a corner, waiting for the blink to happen any single time.
Still, ET's esports dealing with it very early on here, and you can see Black Dragons trying to put it even more so in the coffin with O-Ship thinking about the rotation to the left-hand side. Sneaking around the jungle.
Got spotted.
Did he? Oh,
Yeah,
he
the
did.
ward.
He's standing on the ward.
That's the ward that, because of how aggressive P-Bay was, it actually forced Nick to pick this Chalice up very early on, probably earlier than he wanted to. It's going to slow down finishing off those boots, whereas P-Bay, he's not really worried about vision. He's just worried about finding those frags.
Well, Chris is here, and maybe he should be worried about the vision. Marcel's gets hit. Down to about 50% HP. O-Ship is here, though, and Chris could be on the bad end of things. Chains brought him down to half. O-Ship can't get up. Finds the root, but no damage after the fact, and that'd be that.
P-Bay has Blink. He could easily go in here if they cancel the back from Chris, but they're not going to. Instead, they're going to allow the back and maybe look for something else. Oracles is available if they want to, but purple being picked up by P-Bay, and that's the important thing here. The purple buff for this Ares. More damage available, more kill opportunity, or maybe even just getting those minions under the tower a little bit more just to deny a little bit of gold. Not all the gold, but some.
Cliz having some connection problems. We'll get him right back in there very soon, so bear with us. But game number 3, honestly, like I said, for game number 1, I think ETs had it easier than Black Dragons have it here in game number 3. ETs made some mistakes, and they were obviously fixable. They just, you know, it was as simple as change this pick, do this differently, and they were able to go ahead, identify, and make the change and find the win in game number 2. For game number 3, there wasn't really a pick that I didn't like with Black Dragons. They just didn't win the game. How do you go into a game 3 from that?
You just have to get a clean slate from the previous game. Obviously, ET was successful in doing so between games 1 and 2. So BD, they already switched things up, banning the Habois in the second ban phase, making sure that Marcel's was going to pick the Uller. They've made those adaptations after the loss, and so far, they're slowly building a foundation of a lead in terms of experience here. Level 5 on the side of Marcel's is going to mean that he's closer to that level 12 power spike to get the second relic.
Well, let's get back into game here. Only 1 kill on the scoreboard. And if you're just joining us, this is the last game of the set. He who wins takes it all for this week. ET's up about 500 gold, despite being on the wrong side of the first blood.
Cliz needs to be really careful here. Sitting at level 5 compared to this level 7 Bologna. Very tricky spot to be in here, as around the corner is Chris, really trying to abuse the fact that Cliz is here without his ultimate.
You know, something I want to bring up, Totally, as Black Dragons come over to the left side, are these oracles. Nobody does these oracles. Chris, right side, tower dive, along with Bologna, takes out Cliz. He finds himself back.
And without the diamond right next to Chris's name, that means the ultimate was expended. He got the stack, extra power, extra lifesteal. It's the same exact story like last game. You're really abusing the solo lane early game because they're not that tanky yet, and you can get those easy stacks because, you know, more often than not, solo laners aren't building into purification beads, and if you can catch one without an ultimate, such as Cliz there, you're going to find those stacks every single time.
Executes, not building against the magical defense, just everything in Ao Kuang's favor here. But again, going back to those oracles, nobody does them. And we're seeing more and more junglers just sort of leave them up. Why are teams not focusing on these oracles?
They are very difficult to kill by yourself. And with how much things there are to do in the jungle, you just leave them for last. Unless you're afraid of maybe an early Gold Fury attempt, if you're able to really snowball and get everything on the map, then you're going to get oracles anyway, but they're just not as valuable as they used to be because Gold Fury was also a little bit easier to secure in Season 4. Now we're looking for just being able to secure your own speed buff. Control mid harpies, those are still very important in getting a lot of gold. And don't forget, those back harpies that come up every 60 seconds.
Yeah, it's that threat, I think. If you're that far to go to commit to those oracles, you're going to die for them, and they're just not worth dying over. ET's just abusing Black Dragon's solo lane. They've already got the tower. They've killed Cliz once already. And they find themselves 1,500 up just off of that.
And more importantly, a 3-level lead for Margot.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, she's just able to get in the face of Cliz now whenever she wants.
Little curious choice here coming out from the mid lane. Giannis will get his ultimate forced out.
It's so difficult to poke your nose in the enemy jungle.
Yeah.
But if anyone can do it, it's going to be a Giannis.
Well, one of the cool things, I won't say nice because, well, 50% of the time you're on the wrong side. There's so many corners in the jungle now, Totally. You can surprise people so much easier.
Which is why these Chalice Oracles are so important. We saw how many that Black Dragons got in game number 1. So far in game number 3, only 2 thus far. They're not really abusing it the same way they did in the first game, but they're still not really in the worst position possible. Kakalin in the sell lane will still do work. He just needs to get those levels online, get the second relic available to start making his rotation and his presence felt.
XTT gets his ult chased out. Guy and a horse on cooldown. That's the official name of his ultimate.
Guy and a horse?
Guy and a horse.
What about Guan Yu?
Other guy and a horse.
No.
You're so offended.
That's the original Guy and a horse. How are you going to switch it up on them?
Well, I mean, when was the last time you saw Guan Yu played? Zim Star in China. That's actually one of the few characters that I don't anticipate seeing a lot of. Early on, I thought Guan was going to be very powerful.
Sure.
But I think there's just too many characters that stop his clear to make him viable in that solo lane.
Well, there's always the last pick potential whenever you're on Chaos side.
Sure.
In the competitive environment, you're trying to get Chaos side. Could make a presence felt if that's the strategy. Even when other gods can cancel you out, as long as you transition in the late game, you're going to be healing for a bunch. A little bit of cooldown reduction goes a long way.
All right there. Nice ult for ult, but
Wow.
Scordia is still able to deal out the damage even without the pull. There's a tower dive. The chains are good. The flames are good, but not good enough to find any kills there. Now here comes ETs from the backside. Already as Ares in execute threshold. Up he goes. And Chris feeding the hunger.
Nando is going to be the next target, slowed, and there goes the ultimate. Margo over the top. Going to get zoned out, however. Nan still hiding inside the cloud, but right behind him is the Dragon King.
I like how Chris stepped away from the Bologna circle, keeping him in mind how many protections you're granted for staying in that ultimate zone. Nice play there for the jungle, and that'll open up the window for the Gold Fury.
EXT just in no man's land, zoning too far away from what the rest of his team was doing, and as a
The wrong
result,
player.
dropping the Gold Fury.
You
As
got-
a hunter,
You got to know your role.
you got to be on that Gold Fury to burn it down. And you can't allow your solo laner to be the one doing the Gold Fury. Your solo laner's job is to secure the Gold Fury, to zone from the Gold
Exactly.
Fury. But at the same time, if you don't have your Sylvanas there, then who's tanking the Gold Fury? And that's where I think ET's kind of got fumbled up on.
I guess I just there is never an absolute in Smite. It's a MOBA. There's so many different moving parts and variables. But I would say 99 times out of 100, your hunter should be on the objective. Let somebody else zone. There is that one rare case where you need a hunter to zone. Sure, I'll buy that. Don't DM me. But the fact of the matter is, XTT, you've been playing this game for years. Stay on the damn objective. Shoot it with the arrows. You're a hunter. That's your job.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to say that ET's decided that he needed to zone. They probably overestimated the DPS from Chris playing this Ao Kuang sitting at level 10.
I'll buy that to a certain extent, but Chris right now, he's going to turn it around with an ultimate from his own mid laner. I don't think Chris expected that and dies to the hand of Nan. I think if he expected the Giannis to find the kill, he'd be safe.
Yeah, he definitely needed to find that execute to get the health back.
Yeah.
Finish the third important stack on that passive. But 5-on-4 advantage now with Chris dead. Chris doesn't really have to worry about a gank anymore, but he can't handle the 1v1 sitting 2 levels behind.
Oracles will be the objective of choice. 4 Black Dragons after their little win, taking down Chris. Not going for the Gold Fury this early on. 12 minutes in, 7 kills. ET's on the good side with 4 of them. Also up about 2,200 gold as well. Giannis could be in trouble, but
He's a Giannis.
he
He's
walks-
never in trouble.
He walks through walls.
He's never in trouble.
He literally walks through walls.
Unless you're a Hanbats or a Susanoo
Bunt hats.
that can just follow you through a portal with the monkey
Oh,
bounce.
Chris.
Ooh.
Oh, Marcel's collapsed a little bit too, almost
dead.
too efficiently, but he finds the kill anyway. The jump over the wall.
Another pick there. That's shutting down the momentum
Yeah.
of this Ao Kuang. And
a
Ao
big
Kuang
deal.
from behind is not the best thing in the world here.
No.
Oship is going to be able to really start controlling the pace of this game.
And what you're seeing here, I think Smite's in a neat spot right now because you're looking at Chris, who's 2-2 with an assist or so, and Oship, who's 1-0-1. But Oship is 2 levels higher. You can be the gank. You can gank all the time. But if you start to not make those ganks happen or start to die, basically the story of Chris this game, you wind up falling behind. Oship has just been nose to the grindstone farming in the jungle. Both are acceptable, but you can get put down in either area, and you got to be able to pick up the slack.
Yeah, he needs to, if he's going to commit to a gank, he absolutely needs to find the execute kill to get that experience here. Whenever you're behind multiple deaths, there's going to be that little reward comeback factor where the next kill you get is going to give you more gold, more experience, especially if it's going to be like a revenge kill or somebody that's on a little bit of a streak. So maybe look for Oship or Marcellus here if you're Chris.
Do things change in Game 3s?
A little bit. A lot has changed in terms of picks and bans. Chris did not play Ao Kuang in game number 1 after the loss, and now games 2 and 3, after winning game 2, feeling confident enough to go for it again in game 3, despite not having the same kind of burst. Habwa can also set you up for easy executes, whereas Giannis, not as easy.
Yeah, Giannis is going to set you up for the easy executes, the way he's going to set you up for going too deep.
Yes.
You're allowed to go too deep now because I can portal you out. Is essentially what the Giannis does to this composition. But sort of like you said in game number 2, feed the hot hand. After the performance that Chris played, do it again. That was great. Just do it again.
And he's sitting pretty at level 14 right now. PB going to poke out Neek a little bit, forcing out the ultimate and the sprint.
Nice jump! Oh, the jump out of the Robin over the nonsense coming out from Neek. Really hot play. That's going to not only secure the kill on the enemy support, but it's going to open the door for the Gold Fury. Black Dragons looking for the objective
They
here.
just needed a little bit of extra burst damage.
Yeah.
That Robin ultimate put it over the top there. Not going to go for the Gold Fury quite yet because of the rotation from Bologna. Kliz making that call out happen like, hey, listen, guys, I'm behind. Let's use this as an opportunity to get the tower and for me to get some farm. Not force the Gold Fury where it's going to be a 4-on-4 anyway because I'm here in the solo lane.
Right. Still 2K down, unfortunately, for Kliz and his fans at home.
How many fans does Kliz have at home?
A lot of fans, actually. Kliz is an international player that really makes me smile because he's one of the few international players that really embeds himself with the larger Smite scene. A lot of times, even Oceania, which doesn't have a language barrier, kind of plays their own game, right? In their own little world. Kliz, he's streaming out there and putting out content, always kind of hanging out in other players' streams. That's a really big deal, I think. And you got to find the wins as well. But this is the type of personality I want in our league.
I'm not going to lie, I thought that was not the answer I was looking for. You're supposed to say at least one per room.
At least one per room?
Yes.
I don't know that one.
Either way, ET's getting the Pyromancer. At least one per room. He has a fan in every room. He's got to keep his house cool.
All right, you got to go. Black Dragons looking at the Gold Fury. Big hit from the Giannis will put Oship to half HP. The entire of the team making the rotation to the left-hand side. They're going to pick up the Gold Fury at half. Margo get his own.
Oship is not healthy at all. He tanked that Gold Fury for quite a long time, and ET is securing themselves another objective. That's the beauty of Giannis, man. You can just ping-pong yourself and the rest of your team from one side of the map to the other. The fear was too great for Black Dragons as they had to disengage. Gold lead, not the worst case scenario here. Only about 4,017 minutes in.
Really lucky that the Giannis hit Oship.
Yes.
Right? Brings them from 100 to half if they don't chunk the Warrior jungle. Black Dragons probably fights.
That's true. They could look for an easy engage. There's a lot of damage reduction here between this Robin. Not in his build, but just naturally inside his kit, and that's going to allow him to fight against Chris that's looking for that easy execute. Now having Spear of Desolation on the Ao Kuang jungle, giving him a little extra penetration with Shoes of Magi. Needs to look for that final and third stack. Sitting at level 14 now. Definitely has the damage to do so.
Every time you say Shoes of the Magi, I always think you're saying Shoes of the Mad Guy. Shoes of the Mad Guy here.
I mean, an Ao Kuang is a very mad guy.
Yeah, that is a mad guy. He is absolutely very mad.
He's mad that Oship is punching the air.
I think the maddest character on the map is Kakula. Obviously, his whole mechanic is anger. But right now, it's Chris that's angry. 5-on-4. And ET's looking to make their play here. Thought they were going to push in the mid lane tower. That's exactly what they'll do. Margo leading the charge. This is just hanging on by a sliver of HP. And that's going to be 500 gold in the pockets of ET's. 4,809 is the lead for the blue team.
This is not the time to be dilly-dallying, though, if you're Oship. You cannot be left alone
You just can't be
against
there.
Ao Kwang. He really wanted to try to use that ultimate, the Mystic Rush ultimate, over the mid wall, but he was too far out of range and kept clipping those mid Harpies wall.
Yeah.
And as a result, third stack going the way of Chris. Gets the fully finished 15 magical power and the lifesteal.
Margo just pushing up enemy jungle, but dodging pretty much everything Black Dragon's throwing at her. Even when she did get hit, I mean, Margo was able to just kind of walk away.
You can definitely tell that ETS has made a lot of adaptations in the solo lane specifically with this Bologna here, as opposed to the Artio that she played in the first game. I think that also really shuts down any sort of potential threat from Marcellus. The Scourge is just so annoying. Once you max out that ability, it's 2.2 second disarm.
Yeah, I mean, Bologna, Artio, not the most defensive of characters, kind of in the middle on that defensive to offensive scale. Bologna definitely more offensive, I would say, than Artio. You agree?
I would definitely say so, at least in the early game.
Yeah.
Maybe not when the Artio is in her mid-game stride. She gets a little bit of cooldown reduction, Shoes of Focus, maybe Breastplate of Valor. She has a lot of sustain going with her kit in general, getting MP5 from that.
Ton of sustain.
As long as you get some points in her
She
4.
just doesn't die. That's Artio's whole thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Last forever.
Yeah.
She's able to deal out some damage, but I think Bologna able to ultimate onto the enemy front line, right? Bludgeon everybody. That's an offensive character. And I've just liked Margo on this Bologna better than I liked her on the Artio. I feel like she's able to really just exert her pressure a little bit better.
As long as your team is taking advantage of your Eagles rally, Bologna will be better in team fights every single time. But if an enemy team can avoid that ultimate, disengage a little bit, and then fighting outside the Eagles rally, then Artio can actually stack hand in hand between the cripple against certain gods that rely on escapes. That cripple is just an absolute devastating tool against the Fenrir, against the Susanoo.
Tyr.
They can't use like most of their abilities as a result.
Tyr doesn't exist into Artio. I mean, that's the biggest one. Right now, Bologna here finding a little bit of damage by way of the Scourge. The rest of the team lagging behind in the jungle. ET's really got to group up here. I don't like how spread they are, Jolie.
All right, trying to go for some damage onto Marcel's, really feeling himself. Silva going to use that portal out of there. And the cooldown is definitely evident for Silva. With that Chronos Pendant, he doesn't really have to worry. 50 seconds until that ultimate's back up.
Yeah, we've seen the Chronos Pendant rush coming out a little bit from some of the mages here. Number of different builds as we're in a new season with different options. Warlock Staff into Book of the Dead makes for a very tanky mage. Lifesteal, Bancroft and new item
Typhon's Fang
allows you to really have just a ton of sustain. Magical Lifesteal was never really relevant as a build. You just could have sort of bought Bancroft or
For the
bought
damage.
Ollie and like, okay, I guess I heal a little bit. Because you suffer that 33%
from AoE abilities.
exactly. So, but with the Typhon's Fang, Lifesteal for mages is like actually a legitimate build path. And then of course you have your traditional just power and pen. There it goes. A lot of different options for mages, whereas before, a little bit more cookie cutter.
Gold Fury going to get started by ETs. Going on in as Pibe with the blink hits all 3 chains. Now going to force out the other guy on the horse on the south side while EXT exits from Oship.
Trouble for the Ao Kwang. They're going to find an exit down south. Now, still 5 players, Black Dragons, trying to chase, but where do they chase to? The Gold Fury already down. Where are they going?
They're going to go to tier 1 mid, it looks like, but look what's happening on the left. Silva is not going to stop farming. He's already sitting at level 20, highest farm in the game. Going to split push a little bit, but not going to overextend to that tier 2 tower. Really respecting the fact that Oship was coming alongside. Great vision from ETs.
How has Giannis gotten this much farm?
He's just all over the map because of his mobility. Nice use of the Aegis and the Beats, but it's still not enough. The rest of his teammates was not next to none. They were too busy doing the Pyromancer.
Pyromancer will go down. Non gets caught out. That's a little rough. Non just shouldn't be there.
It's very difficult to avoid an Ao Kuang that has a blink. It's just going to happen. Sometimes you're going to get caught out like that. The rest of his team didn't need the Discordia for the damage, so they really tried to min-max their farm potential, getting that tier 1 mid tower. Unfortunate for not.
Fire Giant down 30% already. Here comes Black Dragons filtering in. One by one. P-Bay playing outside. Cliz is here. ETs gets the big boy. And that'll be the disengage for the blue team. Fire Giant in hand. And they're going to slink back, buy up, and look for a new engagement.
ETs are looking to get revenge from the last Super Regionals, which they lost in the best of 5. They're up a fair amount of gold here. 23, almost 24 minutes into the game with Fire Giant here. There's still 3 more Tier 2 towers amounting for 4,500 gold, topping them over that 5-digit mark. And I think ETs can easily close this out.
I didn't notice this before. P-Bay's starting item, actually. P-Bay started with the Warrior. With the Warrior Blessing, did he?
Looking at his build, indeed he does.
Yeah, look at that. And that I like this a lot because we were talking about how the solo laners are going to bang back and forth, and that's how they're going to get their sustain. P-Bay bought this in the dual lane, and what did Black Dragons do the entire time?
Just kept fighting.
Just kept fighting.
Yep.
That was really, really cool for P-Bay to pick that one up, and knowing that he was going to be in aggressive areas. I like those choices.
And between the amount of defense you get from Shackles, that Warrior's Blessing is basically making all the minion damage immune. So you are not taking minion damage. And also, there's a lot of damage mitigation from the dots, right?
Yeah.
Like, Neek has a lot of damage over time. There's going to be a lot of dragons coming at you that you have to kind of mitigate. And the more you can survive, or at least not take as much damage, then you're not going to be in that execute threshold for Chris, which is why he was constantly focusing out Cliz instead of P-Bay.
10 prots across the way with that one. ETs, group up, please. This is the problem that I saw earlier, is that they were just not able to really find themselves grouped up as one. Margot by herself.
Baiting some cooldowns, using the transformationist Cliz. Didn't really stop it by using that rage, but whenever you're body blocking a Bellona against the wall there, you're going to eat a few in-hands to the face, so you're not always in control of your rage factor. If you get hit, you will generate rage.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to put that to the test, Tolly? Come here.
You're going to hit me?
Yeah,
I'm going to get so mad if you hit me.
Ares finds the third chain as ETs pushes up here in the middle lane. 4-1 split. Chris on the right side dealing with Cliz as he has all game. The rest of the team looking here on the mid lane tower. Giannis hanging outside for the flank. There's Neek offensively finding the knockup on so many members of Black Dragons. Not going to find the pull.
EXT.
Ultimate or not, they're just not able to walk up.
EXT was the focus there. He would disengage, even sprint being used, but P-Bay gets 3 on the chain, forcing out some ultimates. Bizneek is holding on to his for a little bit there. Beautiful pick-off on P-Bay.
The turnaround from EXTT using Gynohorse to find not just the immunity to the Ares, but also the damage. Wonderful stuff there coming out from Hachi, man. And ET's, what was it? Great initiation from P-Bay. You can't ask for more. That was
right.
Wonderful. And ET's just played that so correctly that they're able to come out virtually unscathed. They lose their Giannis in the process, but they just looked really nice there.
Seems that the purification beats
Still no
wasn't
tower,
available,
which is the important part.
Yeah, couldn't really get away from that burst damage from Oh Shit. Blinking into the thick of things is what he really wanted to do. He wanted to maybe force out some relics on EXT when he was kind of flanking on the right side of the map. Didn't really find it, but still regardless, the towers are going the way of ETs despite losing the 1-for-1 exchange.
Look at O-Ship. Look at O-Ship. Look at O-Ship. Left side. Coming in for the flank. Nice knockup coming out from Cliz.
No follow-up, however. Oh Ship, not that much mana. I think that he just wants to get ETs under the tier 2 tower before he goes in.
Yeah.
The Blink not available for the Robin jungle. He now finishes off his Titan's Bane. Still going to go for the Brawler's Beatstick as his last penetration item for some more anti-sustain.
Nice defensive stop by Black Dragons here. Down over 10K at that time. That's the best. That's the absolute best you can ask for.
Yeah.
You traded your support from mid laner. You defended the tier 2 tower. Now a tower did go down to the right. The tier 2 tower did go down to the right-hand side, but you defended the objective that the enemy was trying to push into, and the enemy had a fire. Like, what else can you ask for? Really nice defense from Black Dragons.
Now I'm going to use an advantage of the back from ETs by securing themselves a Pyromancer. Gold Fury does go down. Didn't really have vision on the left side of the map. That was a bold call by BD.
Yeah, I like that call. I think that's calls like that are what makes this team habitually successful.
I think it was also the addition that Giannis was still not really in position to get the rest of his team where they needed to be. However, Fireshine has respawned. I don't expect Black Dragons to realistically want to fight outside of their towers or phoenixes here. Oship going to get focused out, but the rest of his teammates is behind him. He's going to go up and down, get some damage reduction, but so does Margo.
From ETs, the ultimate through the wall. P-Bay coming through, has the chains, but not able to make the kills. Deke picks up Oship. Marcel's down low. Chris, however, picks up P-Bay, puts it in him, and takes him down. That's going to be the second kill on the side of Black Dragons, and Kliz just turned into a Muppet by the Giannis. That's kill number 10 for ET.
Third dead victim. Black Dragons can no longer defend this objective. Second Fireshine now being secured by ETs. They are just one step closer. I like the fact that they were kind of baiting out Margo, who's just like an absolute machine here. You cannot poke out this Bologna. The Kokolin, just not the same impact here as this Bologna late game. And honestly, Oship wanted to go in there. He jumped up and down, expecting Chris to go on him, wanted to get some damage reduction, but Chris was so patient. He's like, no, I'm not going to go on you. Why would I ever go on you?
Mid lane tower falls down. ET's taking their 5-on-2 power play all the way to the Phoenix. Mid lane goes down as well. Kliz will respawn in 5 seconds, and we'll have full strength versus full strength. ET's in the driver's seat here.
Phoenix already half health, but look at what's going on in the mid lane. Oship eliminates Chris Lim, while the rest of his team is forced to retreat. Nice little knockup. It's going to stop the axe for a little bit longer, but it doesn't stop the blink from P-Bay.
Oh, it's not enough to kill the Giannis, who tosses the ultimate in the wrong direction. But there's a little help from the friends. Margo, that's exactly what you do there.
Sacrifice your
Margo
life.
has played so well this game. You want to know? I was kind of laughing when you were talking about that team fight on the right side, because Margo has done this. I mean, she's 1-1 and 7. I feel like Margo has done this time and time again, where Margo jumps into 4 people and says, "Hey, it's me making a bad decision by myself," and then they collapse on her. And then the team comes through a Giannis port.
Hey, it's me like every other solo laner trying to force something to go happen.
But Margo's done that so many times, and Black Dragons go, okay, we'll kill her, and then die in the ensuing team fight because everybody walked through the wall by way of Giannis. This has happened so many times. You gotta learn, Black Dragons. You gotta fix that.
Oh, I like this idea, though, behind pushing this tier 2 mid tower, also pushing out these fire minions from Black Dragons. They push the correct wave, but Silva, he did it before, he did it again. It's a split pushing Giannis. You just can't stop the Portal Man.
The Portal Man?
Yeah, Portal Man.
The Portal Man?
Yeah.
I like it. I like it, totally.
Could be, it's not always a fun thing. Could be a scary thing, like the Slender Man.
The Portal Man?
Portal Man is coming for you.
All right, so you had something good when you called him the Portal Man, and then you just went somewhere. I don't know where you are. I can't follow you.
He's the Portal Man.
I don't know, man.
Threshold. Portals. He goes through
32
space
minutes.
and time.
32.
Tom, he goes through space and time.
No, Space and Tim. 32 minutes in here. 10-9. ET's up. 1 kill, but a slew of gold. 15,000 gold here. Do you remember that when it was Space and
Yeah,
Tim?
there was like that one. It was too long of a name, and then they had to extend it by one character.
Well, right here, ETs are trying to take their extension. They extended this series to 3 games. They're trying to find the victory here. Again, Margo, hey, it's me by myself. Everybody look at me.
Pull.
The rest of the squad looking at the Phoenix. Nice pull, but there's a better knockup P-Bay with the chains. He goes down before he pulls anybody else in. Not an O-Ship get aggressive. It's 2 for 1
Wow.
so far. All the way to the fountain Margot goes to even that one up.
Ship doing such a good job keeping BD still relevant in this game. He takes out one, forces EXT away also, and without your Hunter, you're not going to get the Phoenix damage off in Margot because she was diving for Non. She can't escape. 3 dead for 2. Black Dragons are still holding on for dear life. They're still going to be able to hold on to their mid Phoenix once it respawns. They have a shot of coming back in here. This is a big hill to climb, however. 14,000 gold.
A lot of, you know, it's interesting. Somebody in I was very rarely do I bring up my own gameplay experiences, but this is more about the conversation I had with a player. We're talking about the game very frequently. He mentioned this meta was a throw meta. Now
Whoever throws harder.
I've heard snowball meta and Heartseeker, blah, blah, blah. A throw meta, where the meta is just about throwing the game. He was 100% serious, by the way. But right here, this is a game. This ETs has given Black Dragons, they've thrown this game multiple times.
Well, it's just the backline penetrators doing their job. Who's going to do a better job, right? O-Ship did a better job than Margot in penetrating the backline. Instantly taking out, I think it was Silva, and then almost taking out EXT.
Yeah, he was, you call them technical kills, right?
Yes.
EXTT didn't die in that engagement, but was brought low enough that he had it was a 2 for 2, really a 2.5 for 2. EXTT could not have an impact in that fight because he was a little bit too low.
Yeah, and as a result, BD still holding on for a little bit longer. Their middle Phoenix has respawned. There could be a little bit of pressure, though, if Silva continues to push up that wave while Black Dragons are preoccupied with this Fire Giant here. 34 minutes into the game.
Look at Marcel's. I like that call.
Somebody needs to defend, absolutely.
Yeah.
I also like what Silva's doing there, using the threshold just to speed up the minutes a little bit faster.
There's the jump in from
Non.
Margot. 1 versus everyone. Surprise! Here's the rest of my team through the wall. Have you seen this play before? I've literally called it 10 times this game. Kliz trying to clean up for his teammates' mistakes, but Ship will be just another one of them. 2 for 1 so far. ET's favor.
So far, so good for ETs. Around the backside
Surprise.
is Margot. Chris is buying himself some time for this flank and the pincer maneuver to occur.
Surprise! There comes Bologna from the back end, looking for Kliz with the hammer. The rest of his team in tow will retreat. Fire Giant respawned, and that's where they're going to focus this time around. They don't have the Giannis, but they have the Hunter. And that should be enough damage to take out the objective, but do they stick to it or look for the fight?
We're about to find out. Black Dragons are not going to let this go freely. It seems ETs will disengage from it. Kliz jumps away from the action here. Neek trying to get in the best possible position for a root and a pull. And yet again, Margot buying time and eating
Totally
all
fine.
the abilities.
That's totally fine. Shovel everything into Margot. She does not care. Her team is looking at the objective. Fire Giant down to half. She's going to jump in with 40% HP, even creating a bigger zone. The team does walk off the Fire Giant, but Margot seems just unkillable right now.
It's so difficult. Honestly, when you're that confident, you can really tell. Because the follow-up wasn't going to be anywhere close to her. She needs to put the pedal to the brakes, not the gas pedal.
You know what I like about that is you're talking about confidence. There's sometimes solo laners just overestimate themselves and think that they can 1v4. A lot of times we're seeing this jump in, and that last one was nice. She jumps in 1 versus 3 and then immediately retreats. That was not a I can take on the world with 40%. That was I'm going to jump in and back off. I know exactly what I can play with. I mean, 2 deaths. And one of them was an intentional, like, quote-unquote intentional death, allowing the team to retreat, giving herself up. And the other was a fountain dive.
Sure.
I'm okay with those 2 deaths.
And I think the fountain dive has been a lot of the identity from Margot, being just a little bit too tunnel visioning. When you talked about that, she backed off from the Eagles rally. That's her hang time, like, all right, I'm in the air looking around me. Oh, my teammates aren't here with me. It's time to fall back.
The mid-air realization, I've made a huge mistake.
At this moment, I have messed up.
The aggro record scratch.
Yeah.
All right, now though, ETs. This is the squad. Black Dragons have played fantastically because ETs they've been in this driver's seat for the entirety of the game almost.
Everyone's level 20.
But Black Dragons have done such a fantastic job of keeping ETs at bay, taking these team fights. They're able to sort of find one or two the right picks.
And honestly,
Giannis
oh,
is gone. Giannis is
ship.
gone.
Just absolutely catching Silva out of position. Wow. Bracer and Beats not even good enough to keep him alive there.
Hiding behind the corner. That was what I mentioned earlier. One of the nicer things that I like about this map, as an observer, not a player, is the fact that you could always kind of just see a player lurking, hiding behind a corner, and then just jump out and go, supplies!
I was going to say before that kill happened, like it's all going to be up to Silva and Chris to get the damage off to secure their team the victory. If they don't find that damage, then Black Dragons should just be able to really just steamroll through any lane that they choose, which they're about to try to do right now. In a 4v5 spot, 23 seconds until Silva comes back up.
This would be ludicrous if Black Dragons are able to turn this one around, but it would be very descriptive of their success.
Margot is flanking there, but Kliz has transformed to the base. Not going to be able to push Margot out of position, but a triple pull coming out.
And there's the blink in from Neek looking for the knockup. Can't find it, however. The chain's still coming out, dealing relative damage, but it looks like Black Dragons have the upper hand. Chasing Margot out, down to 25% HP. Chris, finds the kill on an O-Ship. There's going to be Silva finding the kill on a Marcel's, and it's off to the races. Players rushing up the mid lane tower. That's going to be a double kill for the mid lane Giannis, and that is a fantastic push by ET.
That's all the damage they needed. Silva respawned at the right time.
And just shot into the wild blue yonder.
And that's it. Like, everyone's retreating down the middle lane. You just kind of estimate where they're going to be. Boom. Catching out a squishy target. Marcel's takes a spill. Nice pull there. Kliz trying to do what he can outside his Titan room if he can buy some time and prevent this from happening, but it's not going to be the case. Deicide.
All 5 players dead. This is the conclusion of game number 3. Black Dragons stretched this game out for 20 extra minutes, Anatoly. Really nice job by the sort of the favorite here, I would say, Black Dragons. But ETs really bring it home in the third game. 19-14, 40 minutes or just above it in regulation play. And, well, that's all she wrote. Fantastic stuff coming out from both teams. The winner of this week will be ETs.
ETs found their revenge with their region super regionals. That was very impressive performance after they lost the first game, but they decisively, very decisive, 22-3, 28 minutes into that game.
They got stopped.
They did. Definitely did a great job making those adaptations in game number 2. And then game number 3, despite not getting their Habwa, Silva still getting the nice shots off with a Giannis.
Really nice way to kick off the SMITE Global Series. Don't forget, though, there's going to be more throughout the week. Today, we focus on Brazil. We watch ETs take the victory home. Tomorrow, we'll go down under and visit Oceania. Thursday, we'll say hello to Southeast Asia. And then Friday, we've got LATAM, North and South, 2 separate regions to bring you Global SMITE.
I'm really excited to see how each and every single individual region brings out to the meta, because honestly, SMITE meta is not figured out for Season 5 whatsoever. Every region, including North America and Europe, which we'll see later on this month, is going to be providing a nice surprise.
A lot of different stuff coming out. Very refreshing to have Pro SMITE back, totally. Just seeing high-level stuff on this new map. Really, really fun stuff. Thank you for joining us. I'm excited to be back. Just a couple more weeks till the Pro League. That's going to be March 20th. You're going to want to tune into that. But like we said, tons of stuff. Mondays, console series, and throughout the week, global series. Stay tuned to your screens because we're not going anywhere. We'll see you later on through the week. Peace, and much love to you.